Good evening and welcome here to Guiseley AFC Radio. Tonight we are bringing you full live match coverage of the big game in the all-important Skrill North encounter between the Lions and, of course, A.F.C. Telford United. A game that promises plenty of excitement as both sides look to get into that final, into the playoff positions, into the top flight of the conference, Skrill Conference. I'm Colin Robertson. Alongside me tonight, rather rabbiting on here, is Tom Feeney. So good evening, Tom, and hopefully you're looking forward to this game as much as I am.
Yeah, well, tonight really is a fantastic match. You've got 8th v 2nd. This is the kind of game, though, where you look at this and you just think these two sides are both going to attack. They've both got something on the line. For Guiseley, a win, they can get so near to them playoffs, maybe even get into the playoffs at the end of the night. For Telford, though, what an incentive it is for them. If they win tonight, they go top. They go ahead of North Roby United, and with not that long left in the fixture list for this year, they're in a position where if they go ahead tonight, they'd be seen as favourites to be promoted to the Skrill Premier. Return for them, and what a fantastic job it has been by Liam Watson. You've got to give him credit. He has won the Manager of the Month award, and I think some people were saying Mark Barr could win it. Well, I think Liam Watson's in a position where he really has taken this team on a fantastic run of form, thrown them forward into the top couple of places, and they're now in a position where win tonight, they're top of the league. But for Guiseley, they've got such an incentive to get the win, to fight back after that disappointing 3-3 draw on Saturday when they drew against Oxford, conceding 2 goals late on. But, for Guiseley, it was still a point away from home. That has to be seen as a positive. But tonight, it's all about getting the 3 points and moving into them playoffs, hopefully.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom, and thank you for talking so long there, because we are just checking we don't have any technical gremlins. So as ever tonight, do tweet us if you're listening from afar and wanting to follow things. Let us know how we're getting on via our Twitter feed, which is at Guiseley Radio. At Guiseley Radio is the best way to interact with us. That's the way that we can be sure that we're coming through on air and ensure that we are bringing you full match coverage of this evening's game between Guiseley and A.F.C. Telford United here on our Guiseley AFC Radio. This is what happened the last time the two sides met back in February, when Guiseley travelled down to face a very strong Telford United side.
For Telford, on the left-hand side, whipped in towards the 6-yard box once again. Good header from Rhys Maynell. Ball helped away, but only as far as another Telford man. And then the ball flicked into the area, bounces dead on the ground. Guiseley can't clear it. Put into the back of the net by Mike Grogan. No offside flag. Telford have the lead. The goal area did its job in that sense for Telford. And it's Mike Grogan who gives the home side the advantage. Guiseley fall behind after 17 minutes. Mike Grogan the goal scorer. It's Telford 1, Guiseley 0. Holly Johnson looking so sharp in that last sort of 10 minutes or so. Now Guiseley with the corner kick on the right-hand side just before the break. Plays it into the 6-yard box. Over everyone! Yes! Back of the net there! Guiseley have got the equaliser, and it's come. I'm not quite sure who's got on the end of it. If it's Gavin Rothery, it was inside the 6-yard box, blasted into the top of the goal, and Guiseley are level. Has he given it to Boys? Either way, Guiseley have pulled back onto level terms. It's now Telford 1, Guiseley 1. Guiseley have a penalty kick. Gavin Rothery steps forward. I don't think this is as easy as it looks. I know it's a spot kick, but that penalty area is horrendous.
Awful conditions, yeah, awful conditions.
This could be difficult. So if you just...
and it's against the wind.
If you're just joining us, Telford 1, Guiseley 1. Guiseley with the penalty. Gavin Rothery steps forward. He's got to beat Ryan Young. Young's just brought down Wayne Brooksby. All of the Telford players are inside the penalty area trying to claim that... The Rothery steps forward now to take the penalty, blasts it to the right-hand corner, and Guiseley take the lead. Gavin Rothery it is from the spot. Would you believe it, after being a goal down, the Lions lead here. After a Gavin Rothery penalty, after 67 minutes, it's the Lions who are back, who are in front for the first time in this game. It's Telford 1, Guiseley 2.
Now a chance here for Telford to come forward. The substitute who came on, Mike Phoenix, goes to ground. A tackle from Danny Ellis. Ellis is going to get sent off here. He's already got one yellow card. The referee's gone straight to his book and given him a second. And Guiseley are down to 10 men. And frankly, for me, that's a cheap second yellow card, that. And I'm not quite convinced by that. But Guiseley now are going to be without Danny Ellis. He's going to pick up a one-match suspension. And they're going to be without him for the rest of this second half, and the game turns on that moment. This is going to be just so tough, isn't it, now, as we head into the last sort of 19 minutes of this match. I'll be disappointed. 2 yellow cards in the space of, well, not very long really, 10 minutes less.
I have to say this is a, well, tetchy game, shall we say.
Ball whipped in towards the other 6-yard box. Good punch from Steve Dickinson. Only as far as the corner kick taken. McGinn whips the ball back in. Headed on into the back of the net. The leveller comes. The substitute Mike Phoenix, who knocks the ball home. There's no surprise really, because they've had every advantage given to them of Telford in the last 10 minutes, and not surprisingly, from a 50-50 corner, they've whipped the ball in and got back on level terms. Guiseley now take the throw.
And that's a free kick all day.
Lose possession, and it's Telford who come away with it. Guiseley now get the ball back on the halfway line with Gavin Rothery. Sends it down the left channel, but it's well blocked, and now Mike Phoenix can get the return ball, plays it in towards Wally. Wally's left onside. There's an appeal for an offside. Wally turns his man. He'll surely score this one. Goes through all of the players, and Sean Wally looked offside. Nothing given. Goes through the defenders. 2 men in the box weren't able to stop him, and then turns it into the back of the net. And now Telford are down to lead this one. Telford 3, Guiseley 2. Guiseley, it's very frustrating this. With a minute to go, losing by 3-2. They were leading 2-1. They were then reduced to 10 men. A second yellow for Danny Ellis in the space of about 9 minutes, by my reckoning. Saw him sent off, and with a strong wind behind.
Well, we seem to have just lost that there for a moment, but that was pretty much the full commentary from the game between Guiseley and Telford United last February. And just listening back to that, Tom, I was sort of chuckling at myself there, really, because I was just so disappointed about the way things had transpired. I mean, Telford, in the end, deservedly won that game, but it was just the manner of it, the circumstances and the way that it transpired that was so deeply frustrating that afternoon.
Well, yeah, when you lose someone of Danny Ellis's ability to that red card, Telford were then always going to be seen as favourites. Got to say, I love the passion that AD has whenever Guiseley get a goal. He really is a Guiseley fan, and it's fantastic to hear. But, it was a disappointing result, that 4-2 loss. And on another day, if that red card hadn't happened, you never know, Guiseley might have got all 3 points.
Yeah, well, it did happen, and we did go down after leading 2-1 to a 4-2 defeat. Well, we've got the 2 teams' news here, and we're going to hear from Mark Bauer as well ahead of the game this evening. First of all, though, let's just run down the lineup for the Telford United side. In goal, Ryan Young. They'll have a back 4 of a right back of Wes Baines, left back of Chris Lever, centre halves Neil Byrne and Simon Grand, who is the captain tonight. They line up with a 4-2-3-1. 2 defensive midfielders in Mike Grogan and Alan Moogan, and then a midfield trio of Adam Farrell, Sean Clancy and Sean Wally, and then up front Andy Owens. For the Lions, it's Stephen Drench, Andy Holdsworth, Ben Parker, Danny Hall, Danny Ellis back in the side, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Alex Johnson and Gavin Rothery, and a very good looking lineup that is, in terms of balance and quality as well, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, most certainly is, and it's important to get someone like Danny Ellis back in the back 4. He really offers just so much protection as a defender, and Danny Hall likes playing with him as well, so that is the case. He's an important addition to tonight's squad.
On the bench, Rhys Maynell, Danny Forrest, Michael Potts, Kevin Hallsgrove and Stephen Dickinson for the Lions, and for the visitors, Robbie Booth, Charlie Barnett, Mike Phoenix, who caused us all sorts of problems down in Telford, Tony Gray and Andy Price. Now, we did hear from Mark Bauer earlier on this evening. Tom Feeney spoke to him just ahead of tonight's fixture, and here is what he had to say.
After a 3-3 draw on the Saturday, on the Tuesday it was a win. Obviously tonight it won't be that as easy, but well, it'd be nice to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's definitely what we're out there to play for tonight. Going into every game now, now towards the end of the season looking to win it. So that's the aim tonight, and with the quality we've got in the side, there's no reason why we can't get it.
Obviously for Telford, they're in a position, they win tonight, they go top of the table, they've got a great incentive.
Yeah, great incentive for them, but it's incentives for every team, and playing Oxford, it was a big incentive for them to get a win on Saturday against Stalybridge the game before, Ferriby the game before that. So big games and enjoyable. It's a nice night for football, no wind or anything like that, pitched up in good condition. Hopefully it'll be a good game and we can come out on top.
Just in terms of the table, is the eye now on the table and getting into them playoffs, or is it a case of just game by game?
It's definitely game by game. There's no point looking at the table unless you get 3 points in a majority of games. So that's what we're aiming. That's the only thing that we're looking at is this game tonight, and whatever happens in this one. Whether we win, we're not definitely in the playoffs, and if we lose, we're not definitely out of it. We'll look to the next game from there. We know we've a target that we think we need to get to. So at the minute, other teams are irrelevant. It's all about what we do.
Well, that was Mark Bauer there speaking to Tom Feeney ahead of this evening's fixture. And Tom, I didn't realise you'd interviewed him in the disco.
I tell you, Telford have their stereo on so loud, you can hear it from miles away. They really do. They're pumping themselves up for tonight's game. But hopefully, the guys who players, they pumped up as well for this massive match. It
was quite incredible, actually. I must admit, we sat here earlier on, and you could hear the music coming out of their changing room from over this side of the ground. So yes, they definitely were pumped up, but it was just that just sounds like you've done it in the nightclub, Mr. Craig's in Leeds or something. No, now I'm showing my age. Right, this evening we have a huge game between Guiseley and Telford United down here at Nethermoor. It's a very critical game because, of course, for Telford, they're looking to go back to the top of the table. They are playing tonight when North Ferriby aren't, and this is a chance for them to reclaim top spot. And if they do so, that will leave them, I think, 2 points clear of Ferriby. Elsewhere, there is a huge game going on between Altrincham and Boston United in that playoff zone. What a match that will be.
Well, that is a fantastic match for Guiseley, because a result either way, Guiseley are in a position where they can take advantage of one of them two teams slipping up, or maybe both teams dropping 2 points and it ending a draw. Guiseley win tonight, that is a massive incentive for them to move up to the table.
It's the same as well with Hensford, who take on Brackley Town this evening. And Brackley, of course, right in amongst the thick of the playoff contenders and the playoff challenge. Hensford likewise. Hensford have won 3 in a row since they got that result. Since they lost Elliot Durrell, they seem to have reclaimed their form and started to go back up the table.
Well, yeah, just at the right time as well. They went on a bit of a dip, but they're now in a position where they're getting the wins, just going into the final stages of this league season. And they're in a position now where they're in the playoffs. They keep that form going, they'll stay there, and they'll be a tough team to face in them playoffs because they're kind of an unexpected team. No one thought they'd be where they are at the start of the season, but they're right in it, and good on them.
Well, of course, Brackley with that 5-0 victory on Saturday at Bradford Park Avenue. After Bradford went to their place and turned them over, they'll be a difficult proposition as well, won't they?
Yeah, most definitely. Brackley, they're a really good team. They seem to just be picking up a bit of form as well, just at the right time, and for them that's important. And they are really a side that they've got that bit of experience from last season with the playoffs, so they know how important tonight's game will be.
Well, of course, the two other games are really all about the sides at the bottom end of the table. Colwyn Bay take on Workington, and Guiseley Gloucester City take on Oxford. I can't read my own writing there. Oxford City will be looking to get the points from that game. Gloucester have just managed to peel themselves away. Be a fascinating evening. We'll keep up to speed with all of the games here on Guiseley AFC Radio, as much as we can keep you up to date with the results. Thanks so much there to Tom. We'll be hearing a bit more from him, I'm sure, at half-time as he does his stuff. And keeps us up to speed with all the scores as they go in around the grounds as well at half-time. Of course, apparently there's something happening in the Champions League, but I'm not quite sure what, involving one of these Manchester clubs. But the main stuff is happening here at Nethermoor, where Guiseley are taking on Telford United, and the two sides have come out onto the field. So just a quick run down the sides again. For Telford, Ryan Young, Wes Baines, Chris Lever, Neil Byrne, Simon Grand, Mike Grogan, Sean Wally, Alan Moogan, Andy Owens, Adam Farrell and Sean Clancy on the bench. Robbie Booth, Charlie Barnett, Mike Phoenix, Tony Gray and Andy Price. For the Lions, Stephen Drench, Andy Holdsworth, Ben Parker, Danny Hall, Danny Ellis, back to the first team, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Alex Johnson, Gavin Rothery, and a great bench again tonight. Reece Maynell, Danny Forrest, Michael Potts and Kevin Holsgrove, as well as Stephen Dickinson. And it's just a chance now to say good evening to the summariser for this evening, Nick Keefe. And Nick, looking forward to this one.
I'm excited.
You look it.
Not since Sir Terry Venables and rode across on Terence the Tractor across a shallow river in Shropshire that gave the name Telford to the town. Has there been such a big occasion for the town of Telford?
Can you hand that back to Tom Feeney, please? So, no, seriously though, come on, stop doing your terrible puns. Tonight, I mean, this is a very, very significant game, isn't it, in the course of this season?
Yeah, it's huge, and it's very similar test to the one against North Ferriby so recently, and we fared quite well that night. It's good to have a full team out tonight. We wondered whether Jake Lawler would be available after the knock he took towards the end on Saturday, and good to have two centre-backs playing in the centre of defence, which is obviously going to be crucially important against such a good attacking team.
Two sides are both out on the field, and Guiseley are lining up with the kick-off. This evening's referee, Andrew Miller. He's going to be assisted by Christopher Ellis and Paul Thompson. The Lions playing in their usual white shirts, navy blue shorts and socks, shooting towards the railway end of the ground, taking on a Telford side, playing in all red here on Guiseley AFC radio. And immediately, Guiseley down the right-hand side, sending Andy Holdsworth a long ball into the right channel. It's repelled by the Telford defence and sent away up to the halfway line. Guys, they keep the ball moving though here with Adam Boys rather on the right hand side, laying it back here to Ben Parker. Of course, will serve a suspension at some point for his sending off against North Ferriby. Not tonight though. The ball chipped away by Telford and helped on now by Mike Grogan. Sean Wally gets on the end of it here on the right-hand side, lays it infield, but Owen has to go back all the way to his back line, then plays a brilliant ball in, and sends Wally into the area. Wally gets a shot away with the left foot from the edge of the 18-yard box. Well held by the goalkeeper, Stephen Drench, in the end. And Guiseley play the ball up to the halfway line with the goalkeeper picking out Alex Johnson. But Telford return that ball all the way back to the Guiseley goalkeeper.
Wally showing he's happy to cut into on his right foot, come in from the right onto his left foot to shoot, and that's a dangerous thing to have. It's something Guiseley have on their flanks as well, and Ben Parker's going to have to be aware.
Free kick to Guiseley. They've picked up one inside the centre circle, and the Lions get ready to take the free kick from just inside their own half. Stephen Drench, of course, launches out here towards the edge of the centre circle. Guiseley get 2 or 3 players up on the edge of the 18-yard box. We've barely had 2 minutes of this game so far. We've had one chance for Telford. Guiseley pressed with this attack. Drench takes it up towards Lawler. Lawler gets a nod on, flicked on right out to the touchline now where Gavin Rothery takes over. Pushing back from goal, but good footwork from Rothery. Turns 2-3 men on the edge of the 18-yard box, plays it in there. It's found Wayne Brooksby, and then Boys gets a shot away. It falls kindly for Alex Johnson on the edge of the 6-yard box, blocked by the goalkeeper. Wayne Brooksby still inside the 18-yard box. Guiseley still pressing. Brooksby plays a heavy ball into Holdsworth. Holdsworth takes it down well. Cuts in field. Back to Brooksby, on towards the edge of the the 6-yard box. And this time Telford clear. Into the feet now of Wally. Wally plays a long one forward. A bit misdirected. And all the way back to Stephen Drench.
Good early pressure by the home team, wasn't it? Good work around the box, persistence around the box as well, trying to get a shot away, trying to thread a pass through, not just taking their time, but really trying to make something happen in the early going.
Byrne wins the header for Telford. Played forward, cleared by Danny Hall. Up to the halfway line where Alex Johnson can't control. Taken over here by Moogan. And Moogan lays it forward. And then gives it to Mike Grogan. His chip doesn't find a Telford man, and Guiseley have a chance to counter-attack. Danny Boschel, though, is closed down, swiftly recovers the ball well and plays it out to the right-hand side where Wayne Brooksby takes over. Guiseley still in their own half, sent down the right-hand channel by Andy Holdsworth, headed away from Alex Johnson, and now a chance for Telford to play it long, but that's easy for Stephen Drench to recover that ball, and there's a breather. 3 minutes gone, 0-0. Drench with a clearance into the Telford half, nodded on well by Danny Boschel, finds Alex Johnson on this right-hand side, shadowed by Chris Lever, the left back. Johnson cuts in well, plays it into the feet of Jake Lawler, though, in field. Lawler goes back to Boschel. Guiseley start an attack here, and Andy Holdsworth comes forward, stretches to try and keep control of the ball, takes out the Telford man, and the referee will have to attend to the injury, and I think it was Chris Lever who's been brought down by Holdsworth, and we'll just have a stoppage here for a moment.
Yeah, it was a late challenge by Andy Holdsworth. The ball just got away from him, and he sort of dove in to try and retain possession or pick up the loose ball. And I'm afraid he's gone in a little bit late on the Telford left back, and the referee is having a word with him. I suspect he'll go into the book for it.
Yeah, he does. He gets the yellow card, as Nick says. Frustrating, that 4 minutes gone. It's a difficult one because it was a nasty collision, but there was no malice other than to win the ball.
No, but it was a late challenge for a 50-50 ball in an area that he didn't need to be risking getting booked so early in the game, and it means he's got something to think about. And if you were Sean Clancy, you'd be trying to test Andy Holdsworth for pace for the rest of the game to see if you could draw a second challenge like that.
Guiseley having to defend on the edge of their 18-yard box. Good header from Jake Lawler. The ball forced up to the halfway line, but Telford will recover this. They send it forward there. Hall again trying to get beyond his man, Andy Owens, and didn't make a clean connection. Fortunately, the ball fell through for Stephen Drench.
I think that was actually deliberate by Danny Hall. He's shown one or two slightly unconventional defensive manoeuvres in recent weeks, and that time he's sort of stood in front, but known he hasn't got the ability to kick it away, but he's sort of managed to scrape it back with his studs through the player's legs back to the keeper.
Good ball here, sent over the top by Ben Parker into Adam Boys. Boys into the area, tries to find Gavin Rothery, sends it too far ahead of him, unfortunately, and now Telford can counter-attack. Superb running here from Worley. The man who scored against Guiseley back in February, chased through the back four. Stephen Drench swiftly off his line to clear. The ball now up the other end with Guiseley on the attack now. Gavin Rothery on the left-hand side, under pressure. He's been brought down by Alan Moogan, and referee will call Moogan across. Rothery goes to ground. I don't think he's too badly hurt, and we'll be able to get up. He's just off field at the moment, having a bit of a breather, and I think Moogan is going to have a talking to here, Nick.
Well, he's taken a clip on the ankle as Gavin there, and it's probably going to have stung, but as you say, he's back and up and on his feet. I don't think it was quite as bad as the challenge that Andy Holdsworth got booked for, so I agree with the referee's decision not to book this time.
So Guiseley have a free kick now, right on this left touchline here, and it's a chance for the delivery from Wayne Brooksby to pick out one of 6 players that Lions have in the area. Brooksby, unfortunately, doesn't get beyond the first man on the 6-yard box, and he collects the ball and sends it all the way back to Stephen Drench, and a little bit of a waste, that one, Nick.
Yeah, it was, but Guiseley keep possession and back into shape. They haven't dropped deep beyond the halfway line, so they've got an opportunity to get forward again.
Alex Johnson's on the ground at the moment with Neil Byrne, the two of them having an almighty tussle. Byrne's gone in for the tackle now with Brooksby. Brooksby's just dinked it over him, plays it out to the left-hand side. Rothery onto the edge of the 18-yard box, gets into the area, super tackle on him. And again, it's a chance for Telford to counter-attack. Sean Worley looks so lively this evening, well shadowed by Ben Parker, who takes the ball away from him. Danny Ellis steps forward, takes it onto the halfway line. Great ball over the top, looking for Wayne Brooksby. The arms go up from the Telford defence, and the referee, or the linesman on the far side, Paul Thompson, agrees. And it's an offside decision that gives Telford a free kick.
Yeah, so there's a few interesting tussles out here on the pitch. Definitely Sean Worley looks dangerous, doesn't he, in the early going, and Ben Parker and Danny Hall, who are the leftmost of the Guiseley defence, are taking it in turns to try and keep an eye on him. I think Alex Johnson and it's Neil Byrne that he's up against. That's an interesting one as well. Looked like there was going to be a little bit of afters there when they came together. Johnson sort of trying to sort of hold him off and was maybe backing in, and Byrne sort of took him down. It looked like there was going to be a bit of handbag, so we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Free kick to be taken by Ryan Young. Sends it long. Good header from Danny Ellis. Only as far as Chris Lever. The fullback sends it forward, and now Telford are on the edge of the 18-yard box on the left-hand side. The cross that comes in from Clancy is poor. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Chance to have a breather at 0-0 here. Into the 9th minute. Both sides have had their chances in the opening sparring.
Yeah, it looks like being a good open game as well. Neither team obviously has any intention of parking the bus. Both teams treating this as a game that they want to try and win for different reasons. Telford to look at getting that automatic promotion place, and Guiseley hoping to get a little bit closer to the playoff zone than they already are, see if they can sneak into 5th place even.
Goal kick is cleared up to the halfway line, nodded on by Telford. And a throw in midway through the Guiseley half on the left-hand side. Lever trundles over to take. Guiseley at the moment are on the defensive. For the moment, this is one of the slowest manoeuvres of the game. Everything's been quite frenetic in this opening period. But just a breather being had by both sides.
Literally so. Some of the players were breathing quite heavily, actually, after the early pace.
Owens now with the ball on the left-hand side. Gets it into the area. Guiseley clear. And eventually, boys can send it away. Referee, Andrew Miller, takes a tumble on the edge of the D, which has the fans in unison cheering. But the game doesn't stop, and Telford now can get the ball back in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Ben Parker can clear, sends it towards Gavin Rothery. It's a little bit ahead of him, so Telford recover possession in towards Worley. Worley gets it onto the edge of the D, picked up now by Jake Lawler. Lawler's robbed on the edge of the D, and Worley can recover this ball once again. Lays it back here to Mugan. Mugan out to the right back. Where's Baines? Baines whips one in, and it's a header that was taken by Andy Owens. He salutes the cross because it was an excellent cross from Baines, but Owens couldn't direct it towards the goal, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Telford very dangerous as you'd expect them to be, but the real important thing about that move was Guiseley dawdling on the edge of their own area, and they need to know they can't just stand still and look around for a pass. They need to keep the ball moving.
I think Jake Lawler it was who was dispossessed. And it's a clearance from Stephen Drench. Headed on by Andy Holdsworth. He's taken a knock and earns a free kick. Just a quick nod, shout out to David Kendra. Don't tell work, but I'm listening to Guiseley Radio on one computer.
I don't think that's the end of the tweet. I think he just stopped.
Whilst watching the Manchester United game, I suspect will be the other thing. Danny Ellis has got the free kick on the halfway line. Sent up towards Jake Lawler. Lawler nods on. Picked up by Boys. Rothery on the edge of the 18-yard box. Back here to Boschel. Guiseley can't make any headway. Telford defending deep and well. Out to the right-hand side with Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth's ball is poor, but then equally Mugan's touch is poor. Picked up now by Alex Johnson. He takes a shot, but it's blocked. Johnson still harassing and battling and trying to win this ball back. Forces the error of the clearance, which goes straight to Boschel. Boschel in the centre circle. Chips one forward. Up towards Boys. Boys takes a shot. Is robbed just on the edge of the 6-yard box by the defender and prevented from getting a free shot on target. But a brilliant ball over from Boschel that picked out Boys. Almost like the goal that he scored on Saturday against Oxford City.
Very much so, and that link-up has been fascinating since Adam Boys has got himself fully fit. He's got great movement in the box. He's a big player with a good first touch, and so he can win those balls that come over the top.
Corner comes in by Brooksby. Whipped in towards the back post. The goalkeeper, Ryan Young, claims that one comfortably. And can just relieve some of the pressure there on Telford. But great work in that attacking build-up, especially from Alex Johnson, closing down the defenders, preventing Telford from completing the clearance.
Well, Alex brings that work rate that almost no other striker brings, constantly harassing defenders.
Owen now has the ball here for Telford, goes into the penalty area. Good blocking challenge from Danny Ellis, concedes the corner though.
And as you see at that end, when you rush a defender and you don't give them time to make the clearance or the intervention they want to make, you can make something happen. In this case, it's a corner.
13 minutes of this game, we've had so many chances. for both sides, and now it's Telford. I think this is the first Telford corner of the evening.
I think that's right, yeah.
Sean Wally steps across to take this one. It's on the left-hand side as they attack this Guiseley goal. They have plenty of red shirts in the area, 4 lining up on the edge of the 6-yard box. Wally about to distribute this one in swinger towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up into the air and away by Brooksby. Alex Johnson battling hard to try and recover the ball, does really well, sends it out to the right where Danny Boschel is under pressure, still inside his own half. Coolly plays it back to Holdsworth. Great tackling on him from Sean Clancy. Guiseley still being pressed inside their own half, and eventually send it back to Stephen Drench, who just feigns the ball past the oncoming attacker and then lays it forward up towards Alex Johnson. Johnson battling hard, wins the ball once again. Tripped up this time, referee will surely give the free kick. Guiseley have got a free kick fairly central, but about 30 yards from goal. Not in shooting distance, but a good, dangerous position once again.
Yeah, and just where it is, just to the right of centre and that distance out, it might be better suited to a left-footed set-piece taker if Guiseley really had one, but Wayne Brooksby it is who's made his way over there to take this.
So Guiseley with a free kick. An entertaining start to this game. No goals as yet, still 0-0. Both sides attacking each other, and a real good advert so far for the Skrill North.
Yeah, it's threatening to be a great game, this, and crucially, if there's a goal early on, then the excitement will probably stay high for most of the 90 minutes.
Free kick so to the Lions. Midway through the Telford half, about 30-35 yards from goal. Wayne Brooksby stands over. Guiseley have 4 players on the edge of the 18-yard box. The ball whipped in, goes in towards the 6-yard. It's not really got the delivery that you wanted, and it's gone straight to the goalkeeper, who can claim comfortably.
As I said, the angle from there, because it's quite a shallow angle, very difficult for a right footer to get a dangerous ball in from there.
The clearance from the goalkeeper is nodded out, and it's going to be a throw-in for Telford. David Kendra's comment finished ever tried watching one game whilst listening to another. Many people think our commentary is a bit like that.
Yes, it's like watching The Wizard of Oz and listening to Pink Floyd, he says.
Telford get the ball into the penalty area, but it's comfortably headed clear by Parker. I've never tried that. Now, good work here from Alex Johnson once again, really in the thick of things. Clears, but immediately returned. Picked up by Owens. Owens earns his side a corner. And Owens and Danny Ellis having a good battle down there on that left-hand side. Danny Ellis wins that one, but Telford win the corner.
I think this comes about because both teams playing very similar formations. You get interesting one-on-one confrontations and pairings all over the pitch. It means it's a night for people to take responsibility and do what they need to in their position, because very evenly.
Corner to come in from this left-hand side. Telford again, similar to the previous one, have plenty of bodies all inside that 6-yard box. It's curled in towards that back post, headed in on by Mike Grogan. It should hit touch, and although it looked for a moment as if Telford had kept it live, the linesman's flag is up on the far side, and I thought that would be a goal kick, but somehow the referee's decided differently and has given Telford another corner.
Yeah, no appeal for the corner from the Telford fans behind the end. Everyone's a little bit bemused. Obviously, Telford are happy to have it. And guys, they need to get themselves organised.
The game against Telford back in February, there was a rather dubious corner that led to their 3rd goal. Not to bemoan things, as I did that evening. Corner comes in again from this left-hand side. Whipped in towards the 6-yard box. It evades everyone. Telford almost certainly score, but great block on the line there from Danny Ellis. Looked like they were going to force it over the line, but Danny Ellis was on hand after Stephen Drench came for it. Was unable to claim. And Stephen Drench, his error was made up for by Danny Ellis on the goal line.
Well, Drench was crowded out, loads of people around him, couldn't get anywhere near the ball with his hands, and it was just a case of enough bodies being in there on the line to just fend it away.
Long throw comes in. Once again, it's flicked on up towards the edge of the D. Blasted in by Wall, or well held rather, from Stephen Drench. Good positioning and comfortably taken in the end.
Another good left-footed shot by Wally. He's dangerous on his left, on the right-hand side.
Gavin Rothery chases down the clearance from Stephen Drench. Is giving Wally all sorts of troubles, who's currently in a right-back position. Rothery's pressure forces Wally to clear it straight to Boschel. Boschel floats one in brilliantly up towards Boys. Cleared this time, and only as far as Danny Ellis who sends it forward. Gavin Rothery tries to spin on the ball. Great tackle from Danny Boschel. And that is absolutely preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. The referee has given Danny Boschel a yellow card for a tackle where he's won the ball brilliantly.
That's an extraordinary decision by the referee. Danny Boschel's got 2 feet on the ball there. He's won the ball very cleanly. It's absolutely infuriating when a challenge goes in like that. That's a full-blooded challenge. He gets 2 feet on the ball and wins it, and finds himself in the book for absolutely no good reason.
That's unbelievable, that. Completely unbelievable. And it means that Telford have a free kick inside their own half. Inexplicable. I cannot describe that.
No,
I cannot see how on earth a player could kick the ball and commit a foul. The clearance from Young, up towards the edge of the 18-yard box, taken down here by Boys, flicked away by Danny Boschel, picked up now by Grogan, who takes a shot from 20 yards, and it's easy for Drench to claim. Guys, you've got to not feel too hardly done by, just keep our discipline and keep going, but that decision was absolutely flummoxing.
Well, the only redeeming factor that you can say is as long as he doesn't pick up a second one tonight, the rule on 5 yellow cards doesn't operate after January. I don't think it is. It has to be 10 yellow cards for an automatic suspension. The guys have picked up 1 or 2 yellows recently that have been a bit unnecessary, and but hopefully with the 5 card rule being out of the window, it won't have too much effect on the final couple of weeks. Yeah,
I think you're picking out a positive there quite well, actually, I think.
Trying.
They ball forward anyway from Telford. Wes Bain distributed it, but they were offside, and so it's a free kick to Guiseley. And the Lions and Telford are locked at 0-0 at the moment. 20 minutes gone in this game. Plenty of entertainment, a bit of controversy too. And as yet, not hearing of any goals elsewhere in the Skrill North. Guiseley concede from the clearance, and it's going to be a free kick to Telford. Clearance goes down that left-hand side towards Owens, picked up now by Farrell. Adam Farrell lays it to the left-hand side. It's cleared by Guiseley into touch, so Telford get a throw and come forward once again, this time with Sean Clancy. Clancy lays it back. Worley back into the area, looking for Owens, who gets a flick on. Nobody on the end of it, Stephen Drench claims. And Drench clears quickly, looking to release Alex Johnson. And Johnson's battling, having an almighty battle there with Neil Byrne. And Johnson not letting Byrne muscle him off, forces Byrne into knocking it out into touch.
It's a great one-on-one matchup. That I'm really enjoying watching the two of them play against each other. Really good physical battle, both of them up for a tussle, and at the moment it's about 50-50.
It feels like it's going to bubble over at some point tonight. It's been a really interesting game so far. Both sides have had chances. Guiseley at the moment are on the ball on the left-hand side, whipped in by Ben Parker, flicked on by Boys, laid over to Brooksby. Brooksby's going away from goal with 2 on him, turns and gets the free kick. Good work from Wayne Brooksby, who was going away from goal, turns well, tripped over, earns Guiseley a free kick 30 yards from goal.
Yeah, it's really clever work actually by Wayne. He's been forced away from goal. Looks like he's going nowhere. What he's done is just dragged it, sort of flicked it back with the outside of his boot ahead of knowing that he's going to turn around. And having done it, he's done it just too quickly for the defenders, and they've ended up bringing him down as he's tried to turn around.
Free kick to be distributed by Wayne Brooksby into the area, flicked on by Danny Ellis. Almost able to apply the killer finish, but couldn't connect. But in the right space and a good delivery from Brooksby, but unfortunately it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, guys, they haven't had a huge number of chances in recent minutes, and in fact, actually, it's sort of been a little bit bittier and a little bit sort of scrappier in the middle as teams try to get more of a foothold on but stamp more of authority over the midfield of the game. But that was a real opportunity there.
Still scoreless if you're just joining us here on Guiseley AFC Radio. 23 minutes gone. A really open game. Both sides have had their chances. It's been a little bit of a referee nonsense as well, so it's been a good, entertaining fare. Alex Johnson is bundled over, but as well to get the ball out here to Gavin Rothery. He's on the left-hand side, just on the halfway line. Referee doesn't opt to close it down. Ben Parker is quickly closed down by Owens and Worley. He sends it back to Stephen Drench. And it's launched forward. Ben Parker flicks on. Well taken down here by Boys. Boys sends it back to Jake Lawler on the halfway line here. Guiseley starts an attack. Parker and Rothery on different wavelengths. And it's gone all the way through for a goal kick.
Well, a couple of calm moments now as we wait for this goal kick to be taken. It's been such an even start to the game. I mean, both teams look very dangerous going forward, and both defences look like they're working really hard to keep themselves organised and repel it. It's a game that if you get a goal is going to be threatened to be an exciting game all evening. It certainly doesn't look like being a 0-0 at the moment.
Clearance from the goalkeeper, headed away by Danny Ellis. Johnson tries to turn. It's closed down. Telford hit touch with their clearance, and so it's a Guiseley throw inside their own half. Left back position. 0-0 at the moment. Quite a decent crowd here tonight for this game. Of course, it's an absolute crunch one for Telford as well. And North Ferriby will be keeping their eye on the scoreline from this match, not playing tonight. The ball forward from Telford. It's a bit of a loose possession from Guiseley, but Danny Boschel does well to keep things going. Very late challenge here on Adam Boys by Simon Grand, the captain, and I think that's going to be the first Telford man who will go into the book this evening.
Yeah, and that was a bad challenge as well, actually. Definitely worthy of the yellow card. Really upended Danny Boschel in the centre circle. The referee's just about got these yellow card decisions, apart from the really obvious blatant one that the referee must have just been unsighted for, where he booked Danny Boschel. Other than that, on these challenges where he's given yellows or not, I've more or less agreed with him so far.
It's very magnanimous of you, Nick.
For what it's worth to him. I'm sure he's really pleased to know.
I'm sure he'll be delighted when he listens back, because of course he will.
Everybody does.
Free kick by Boschel. Taken it down to Holdsworth. Whipped in towards the edge of the area. Nodded on by Boys. Nobody on the end of it. Picked up by Danny Hall. He takes a drive from the edge of the 18-yard box. Now Gavin Rothery sprays it out right towards Danny Ellis. Ellis's control lets him down. Now there's a counter-attack on here for Telford. Sent forward for Worley. Worley chases really well. Stephen Drench off his line. Chests it down and away on the edge of the D. Good defensive work from Drench. Sends it up towards Wayne Brooksby, and Alex Johnson chases. It's one end to the other. Eventually it's out for a Guiseley throw on the halfway line.
Not the first bit of confident sweeping work we've seen from Drench tonight, but another very impressive one. And it's so valuable, isn't it, for a team to have a keeper who's confident in those situations. He's quick off his line, and he's got good ball control. He's got good skill. He's happy to not just hoof it, but really bring it down and take the sting out of a situation.
Now Telford come forward. Grogan sent through Owens. Owens was in a great position, but couldn't get onto the end of the ball that was sent in for him. Drench again, so swiftly off his line, claims on the edge of the 18-yard box. And his clearance up towards Alex Johnson. Brooksby rather, does well and earns Guiseley a throw. Drench very swiftly off his line, just marking and working that sweeper role so well.
Yeah, one of the reasons he's so good at it, he's very, very aware of the edge of his box. That time he's taken it with two hands and then just sort of rotated his body to make sure the ball stays inside the area, because he knew he could do that and stop, whereas before he knew he had to bring it down on his chest and then his thigh before he'd have it under control and able to make a good clearance.
Brooksby into the foot of Boys. Boys sends it back to Boschel on the halfway line. It's very evenly balanced this game so far. Guiseley in possession inside their own half. Ben Parker, as ever, his options are cut out. The hard work of Owens and Worley, effective in closing down. Sends it back to Drench, and now Danny Ellis collects. Guiseley can't feed it through down that left flank. Wayne Brooksby under pressure. Jake Lawler slips. Lawler works hard to try and win the ball back, but Telford, hunting down the ball, have won possession and sent it out here towards Worley. Parker just gets the touch to knock it out for a throw-in. But Telford show their energy while they're near the top of this table. And eventually, it's awarded a corner for Wes Baines' approach work, and I think it must have been a touch from Gavin Rothery that cleared it out for the corner.
Yeah, and a little bit of nonsense between Baines and Rothery after the ball went out of play. As you say, it just feels like it's a game that both teams have really come in targeting to try and get a big result, and the players are really hyped.
28 minutes gone. Telford have time on the right-hand side. The first side whipped in here towards the 6-yard box. Again, Stephen Drench crowded out. Cleared eventually. Up to the halfway line. Alex Johnson collects. He's under tremendous pressure from Baines. Picked up well by Gavin Rothery now, and Rothery sends it into no man's land. Frustrating distribution there. There's guys who look to catch Telford on the quick counter-attack. It breaks down and it gives Telford possession.
Well, Baines wants to be careful there. He's just kicking Alex Johnson in the back of his shins, just wrapping him on the sort of Achilles area. He doesn't want to be doing that. And Ben Parker, I think, he pulled up when that throw-in went out over here, where Worley did him for pace a little bit, and he's just sat down on the pitch. He's not happy about something. In fact, the change is being made by the looks of this.
Yeah, that is worrying, isn't it? Because Parker was immediately down onto the ground and is hobbling. He's not taking any chances, and so it's an introduction for Rhys Maynell for Ben Parker. And, you know, on paper, that's no problem. But, you know, Maynell's been working back from injury, and perhaps it limits our options as well defensively if we have any more problems.
Well, the way that he pulled up and came to a sort of skipping stop as he did for just as the ball went out of play for the throwing down there, and the sort of the dejected figure he cuts as he leaves the pitch. I wonder if he knows he's done a hamstring or something like that there. In which case, that's really unfortunate news with so little of the season left.
So Ben Parker off, Rhys Maynell on. Guysey now defending. Sean Worley gets the ball into the area. Good tackle from Danny Ellis to prevent Adam Farrell from getting on the end of the ball. Up towards the other end, and Alex Johnson is furious because Neil Byrne was clearly holding him back. Referee doesn't give anything. Danny Ellis up towards Byrne. Byrne goes through the back of Johnson. This time Johnson goes to ground a bit more acrobatically, and Byrne's going to be called over. And I think Johnson is going to take a couple of minutes. His feeling is back and is on the ground. And Neil Byrne is going to be called over by Andrew Miller.
Yeah, this tussle with Burns just spilled over a little bit. Burns got a little bit too physical with Johnson in the last few minutes, and I think the referee's right to call him in as captain over and have a bit of a word with him.
It looks like a word has been had, and Alex Johnson's also been called over, I think.
Just while we say that, there's some ice going on to Ben Parker's right thigh in the dugout. Can't quite see from here whether it's the front of his thigh or the back, but it's certainly the upper right leg, which is probably not good news, is it? It'll be a proper muscle strain probably if that's the case. Yeah,
if it's a quads pull or something like that, you don't tend to get those. But a hamstring, you know, obviously the lower part of that upper leg is much more potentially long term.
Yeah.
Guys, have a free kick anyway. Brooksby plays it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Danny Ellis is onto it, and he's poked the ball into the back of the net. An unbelievable goal, really, from Danny Ellis, because the ball floated over the back line. Danny Ellis was ghosting in at the back post, but it went over his head, but he still managed to poke a foot out and make the connection, and it's into the bottom left-hand corner, and it is Guiseley 1. Telford 0.
Well, it was a poacher's goal by Danny Ellis, ghosting into the back post. The ball had travelled an awfully long way from that free kick, and it was Danny Ellis arriving late at the far side of the area to poke home from close range. A poacher's goal, just when we needed it.
Oh, what a great start. 32 minutes gone. Now Telford come back. Let's hope we haven't made them angry. They pick the ball up here with Alan Mugan. Lays it to the halfway line. Now they look like they're coming forward with some purpose, but a good tackle there from Danny Hall prevents Mike Grogan going any further, and he sends the ball forward. Alex Johnson chasing, the goalkeeper's out of his goal. Ryan Young clears only as far as Gavin Rothery on the edge of the centre circle. Danny Boschel takes over. He's got Rhys Maynell on the left. Boschel just takes a cool head, slows it down, then plays it all the way back to Danny Ellis. Ellis is closed down quickly. He sends it over the top. Johnson goes searching for this with two players on him. Byrne is one of them. Byrne gives it straight to Gavin Rothery. Rothery into the area. Goes past one and then is taken down by Byrne, but I think a little acrobatically. I'm not going to claim that was a penalty shout. Cleared by Telford from their right back position, and it's a good one forward towards Owens. It forces Hall into a good challenge, and then Andy Holdsworth has to make a firm tackle. And the referee surely is going to be talking to someone. Who is he talking to here, Nick? If he's going for Andy Holdsworth, I thought for a moment it was a second yellow. Unfortunately, breathe a sigh of relief. It's Sean Clancy, and I think Clancy's going into the book.
Well, I think that's the right decision. It was a bit of a reverse of the one that Andy Holdsworth was involved in early in the game. 50-50 ball that time. Holdsworth was there well ahead of Clancy, and Clancy arrived late and took him to ground. All of the guys they bench, apart from Ben Parker, obviously were leapt to their feet. They were a lot closer to it than us there, and they were really unhappy with it.
Brackley Town leading by a goal to nil against Hensford. 1-0 here as well, and it's to Guiseley. Eddie Odiambu is the goal scorer for Brackley, but immediately Telford applying pressure. Good header back there though from Danny Hall. And it's one of those nights when all the different teams or clubs are tweeting each other's scorelines. Now the ball goes forward. Alex Johnson battling here, this time with Simon Grand. Claims from the home fans of a foul, but referee doesn't agree. Ball now into Jake Lawler, onto the halfway line. Gavin Rothery takes over here, has a run in the centre circle, players around him, feeds the ball nicely into the feet of Andy Holdsworth, who's coming forward from right back. Forward to Brooksby. Brooksby into the area. Can he find Boys? Good block on him. Guys, he can't force it any further forward. Telford can clear, only as far as Andy Holdsworth though. Back here to Boschel. Boschel and Holdsworth combined. Good ball from Brooksby. Forward now, guys, he can't find the way through. And in the end, there's a free kick against Alex Johnson given on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Well, we have got a real game on our hands tonight, Colin. This is fantastic viewing, isn't it?
Colwyn Bay lead Workington by a goal to nil. Stevens from the penalty spot. That one less significant because I think Colwyn Bay are pretty much out of that playoff hunt. Although they'll certainly have something to say when they come here on the 19th of April. You can forget that 2-2 we had with them earlier on this year.
I've really tried to.
Yeah,
I've really tried to.
Clearance forward, knocked on by Farrell. Farrell claims the ball on the second attempt, dispossesses Holdsworth, comes forward down this left-hand side. Guiseley working hard to clear. Up to the halfway line, Alex Johnson chests down, lays it back here to Danny Boschel's distribution isn't so good this time. It's blocked by Baines, picked up by Jake Lawler. Lawler out wide here to Boys. A little bit misflighted ball really from Lawler, and it goes out to touch, and Adam Boys is not happy with that.
Actually, hopefully it doesn't. It won't prove to be a similar situation. But that Colwyn Bay game earlier in the season, there were a couple of yellow cards we weren't too sure about earlier in that game, and one of them led, in the end, to a second yellow being given out to a player who shouldn't have received the first one. And when we were with 10 men that night, it proved that afternoon. It proved very difficult to see the game out that we were winning. So
it's a good call, that.
Well, it's just those yellow cards when they do get given out, and I'm thinking of Danny Boschel's in particular, when they're given out and they shouldn't have been, and you think early in the game, well, it's not a big deal, just got to be careful for the rest of the game. I think it was Craig Hobson, wasn't it?
It was Craig Hobson, yeah.
Yeah, and he picked up a second in the second half. He should have never received the first one, and he ended up changing the game.
He should never received the second one, from my memory. Won the ball in a 50-50, but you can't bemoan these things, can you? At the moment, you're not missing anything. It's a throw-in and left-back position for Guiseley.
No, and there's an awful lot of chat going down on the pitch. Players all over the place, having stern words with players from the opposite team.
Guiseley lose possession, though. It's picked up now by Mugan. Mugan lays it into the feet of Farrell. Farrell can't control. Guiseley come away with it now. Gavin Rothery surging over the halfway line. Two players in field if he can find them, but he's very carefully shadowed here by Wes Baines. Rothery goes past him into the penalty area. Can he get a shot away? He can, and he forces it in! Guiseley lead 2-0. A super strike from Gavin Rothery and a brilliant solo goal. And the Lions are now 2-0 up against the team who look to be favourites to win this division. And it's now Guiseley 2, Telford 0.
A brilliant solo goal, as you said. Gavin picked the ball up in the middle of the pitch. He's worked hard to get past Wes Baines. Trickery and skill and pace, eventually taking him past the Telford right back, cutting into the box onto his right foot and blasting it, curling it in at the near post, so that even though the keeper Young got a hand onto it, it was nothing more than to help it further into the back of the net. 2-0. Wow.
I don't know about you, Nick. I never feel comfortable with 2-goal leads anymore.
No, I always say you need a third.
At least. But super running from Gavin Rothery, and it all came from a counter-attack as well. Telford now need to force this one forward, and so we will expect the response from the Bucks, but at the moment the Lions are 2-0 up here, and chasing everything up front with Boys and Johnson. Forward comes Rothery once again down this left-hand side. Lays the ball back here to Maynell. Maynell sends a good one over, looking for Boys. Boys is shadowed by Grand, and the captain makes sure that goes all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Well, I really didn't expect to see this when I arrived in the ground tonight. I was walking around with my Dad's Army face on, going, we're doomed, we're going to get a tonking tonight, and it's I'm absolutely astonished to see we're 2-0 up.
Still plenty of football to be played. Telford press into that final third, headed back to the goalkeeper, Stephen Drench. 2-0 here, if you're just joining us. Drench plays it forward onto the right-hand side where Brooksby chases, but it's nodded out for a goal kick.
I'm going to find it harder as we get towards the very business end of the season to stay impartial in these situations. I know it's the same for you. We are fans. We have tried to do a decent job, but I tell you what, this is no hiding the fact that we're delighted to be 2-0 up. Didn't see this coming.
Should have heard the highlights, Nick. The Telford game, the reverse, they bring the worst out of me. Alex Johnson gets the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box, gets a shot away with the left foot, takes a deflection. Guiseley have the corner.
Well, the home team have really got their dander up now, and I mean, it's too much to hope for a 3-goal lead against Telford, but they carry on going for it.
Well, you can see Wayne Brooksby is in no hurry to take this. 40 minutes gone. There's too long to time waste, that's for sure. Guiseley have a corner kick out on the right-hand side as they attack the Telford goal, shooting towards the railway end at the moment. Danny Boschel goes to feign to take it short. Brooksby sprays it well wide where Rothery's waiting on the edge of the area. It's not a great set piece in the end. Guys, you just concede a throw-in. That's very disappointing after all that build-up to waste it in such a way.
Oh, they had an idea in mind. Gavin had deliberately drawn away the spare. Danny Boschel had deliberately drawn away the spare marker on the edge of the box to leave Gavin Rothery free, but the delivery forced him back, so he had no opportunity to bring it down and shoot from the sort of range he wanted to. And
it worked out on the training field, but it just didn't work in practice.
Well, in practice, what it's done is it's given away that momentum. It's easy to be wise after the fact, but you just kind of want to see them bang it across into the box, onto the 6-yard line, and keep Telford worried and penned back in their area.
It's come to nothing anyway. Guiseley have the ball with Stephen Drench inside the area. He sends it forward. This time Alex Johnson's penalised for not very much, but Simon Grand has got a free kick for Telford.
It's following the usual script, isn't it? AJ sort of plays with his back to goal, and sometimes the ref says you're backing in or you're tugging the shirt, and sometimes he says the defender's stopping him turning, and it's always a little bit 50-50. It's fun to watch, though. I really enjoy the way he plays that.
Young sends it into the penalty area, headed into the air by Danny Hall, collected by Gavin Rothery. Telford have a throw, about level with the edge of the penalty area on this right-hand side, and they take these long throws into the 6-yard box. It'll be launched in there. This is where the real danger works for Telford, and guys, you have to be on their mettle here to defend this before the break. The throw is launched in there by Owens, up into the edge of the 6-yard box. Guiseley clear, up to the centre circle, headed on by Mugan, picked up now by Brooksby. Brooksby can do something to just take the sting out of it. I think that would be most welcome. Ellis gets the ball from Brooksby, sends it forward, picked up really easily by Telford, but Ellis steps across to prevent the ball going any further, and Guiseley look to counter-attack. Boys trying to send Alex Johnson through. He made a good run, but it was well watched by Grand, and he got the header to prevent it going any further. And then Telford, a little bit of 6s and 7s at the moment, have conceded a throw-in inside their own half, and now the Lions have one midway through the Telford half on the right-hand side.
Well, Telford are just maybe a little bit shell-shocked. They certainly weren't expecting to find themselves 2-0 down in the first half. And they're obviously desperate to try and get one back before half-time. They've been throwing everything forward. They just need to make sure they stay organised now for a moment while they're back inside their own territory.
2 minutes to go to the break. Guiseley leading by 2 goals to 0. Now it's picked up here by Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby tries to cut past his man. It goes down. Guiseley win a throw. And now it's a throw-in that Guiseley have on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. Thrown in towards Alex Johnson, who's down by the touchline and earns Guiseley a corner. See what they can do with this one. On this side, it's again on the right-hand side as they attack the Telford goal.
Yeah, I've not seen a board up for how many minutes of added time we've got, but we're heading towards that sort of territory. The guys are getting all the big men into the box, and they're looking to see if they can get an improbable third.
I don't know what I'd do if we got a third.
I think I'd try and get the game called off at half-time.
The ball whipped in, up towards Boys, easily for Clancy to clear. He sends it back out here to Brooksby. Brooksby does a little bit of fancy footwork, sends the ball over a bit high. Back post is connected by Ellis, sends it back into the area. Can't be controlled by Danny Hall. And eventually cleared and then drilled back in by Danny Boschel, but no direction on it, and it's high and wide.
Wow.
A minute to go.
It's been frantic stuff, hasn't it, this first half?
We're speechless at the moment. A minute to go and we're 2-0 up against Telford United, who have been one of the most impressive sides in the division all season.
Almost as speechless as you were after my explanation of how Telford was given its name.
Let's not go back there. Gavin Rothery's on the ball on the left-hand side. He's having a little run again at this defence after getting that super second goal earlier on this game. Reese Maynell lays it into the left-hand side where Alex Johnson takes over, has a run towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Is tackled, but Rothery picks up the loose ball into the penalty area, finds Johnson, takes a deflection and just goes inches wide of the post. The goalkeeper was stranded going down for the original direction of the shot. The ball goes behind for a corner.
Lovely quick feet by Gavin in the on the edge of the area. It looked like he was going to use his right foot, tapped it with his right foot, and then out of nowhere clipped it across to AJ with his left, and that gave him the space for a shooting opportunity.
45 minutes are up, so it's just whatever's been added. And I must admit, Nick, I haven't heard or seen the board go up. Guiseley have a corner. It's on the left-hand side as they attack this goal. Brooksby whips it in up towards the back post. Nobody can get on the end of it. Eventually, Telford clear. Only as far as Gavin Rothery on the edge of the 18-yard box. He sends it back in field. Danny Boschel drills one in just over the bar. It was well hit, good power, but didn't have the direction that it needed to test the goalkeeper. And it's just gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he doesn't score many goals, does he, Danny Boschel? But he knew what he was going for there, aiming for the top corner, and just a little bit over. But he had a good go, and certainly got the effort behind it. Sometimes his shots are just sort of past, sort of Michael Carrick style. But that time he really drove it, and if it had just been half a foot lower, that would have been in the top corner.
Guiseley have to pick the ball up from the goal kick. They do. Firm tackle from Baines on Gavin Rothery. Worley now steps up and collects on the touchline. Guiseley just have to be disciplined here and repel this last attack. Worley gets it in towards the area. It's a chance here for Farrell. He goes for the acrobatic volley, doesn't get over it, and it goes high and wide. But there was a little warning sign there for the Lions. They can't afford to give Telford any ball, especially out on the widths here.
Oh, certainly, and the job for Reese since he came on to replace Ben Parker has been to try and contain Sean Worley, who looks so dangerous in the opening, full of running and pace. Difficult to come into a game up against a wide player who's playing with such confidence. He's done a reasonable job of trying to keep him quiet, but big challenge for Reese as the game goes on.
And you can hear the half-time whistle goes, and it's Guiseley who are in front at the break. It's good news here at Nethermoor, all thanks to a great goal from Danny Ellis. A ball floated in from the free kick, went over his head, but he poked out the toe to connect beautifully with it and send it past Ryan Young into the bottom left-hand corner. And then a brilliant solo run from Gavin Rothery over the halfway line. Beat the full-back, went into the penalty area, just drilled it into the top left-hand corner, gave the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. It's a deserved lead for the Lions. It's a very exciting and open game. Half-time here, it's Guiseley 2, Telford 0.
A brilliant first half for the Lions, wasn't it, Colin? And never expected them to go 2-0 up at half-time, if I'm being totally honest, as I like to be. But whatever happens in the second half, it's worth pointing out that we are seeing the pinnacle of conference football here. This is as good as it gets, and this is why people come and watch non-league. The fact that you can see a game of football like this, in an atmosphere like this, in an unsegregated ground, for these sort of prices, this is exactly why people come and watch teams like Guiseley and Telford when they're down here with us. So whatever we see in the second half, we can certainly say in the first half, we've seen the best of conference football.
You certainly can. It's been exciting and pulsating stuff, and it's been a fascinating first half, but it's been particularly enjoyable if you are a Guiseley fan. We are 2 goals to the good at the break. The Lions lead by 2-0 thanks to that fantastic strike from Danny Ellis on 32 and that brilliant Gavin Rothery solo run just a few minutes later on 38. That separates the two sides. Ellis has been a hero at both ends, of course, making that fantastic block on the halfway line to deny Telford, who at one point looked like they were going to get a certain goal from the corner. And it's been a really entertaining first half. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes for full live match commentary of the second half here at Nethermoor. But at the break, we have got our resident experts in waiting here. We have Tim Richards and first Tom Feeney.
Well, thank you, Colin. And yes, Guiseley are 2-0 to the good against Telford. What a fantastic half-time score that is for Guiseley, for the Lions. And when you look at the goals, a fantastic finish by Danny Ellis, a bit of quality there by the central defender from a free kick, running into the area, making contact with a fantastic delivery. That's 1-0. And the second goal, Gavin Rothery cutting inside, beating 2-3 Telford defenders and aiming right into the top corner. A fantastic moment that was for Guiseley. That's 2-0. Tim, would you say it's a fair half-time score?
Absolutely, yeah. Guiseley are totally on top here against a really good side, and yeah, can't really say anything else apart from it's a much deserved lead, I think, for Guiseley.
Obviously, Telford, they were always going to go for it. Of course, if they win, they're top of the league. But Guiseley, they've not let Telford dominate the game. Guiseley have had, well, a fair share of the possession and have taken their chances.
Yeah, definitely. The possession's been there for Guiseley, but also there's been a lot of difficult challenges going in from either side. And Guiseley have equalled Telford in getting stuck in challenges. So that's been a big important part of it, I think, is making sure you're staying strong and not giving into the possibly the Telford way of playing, that they like to play fairly, but sometimes do get in quite hard. But yeah, I've just got to say that Guiseley are just keeping the ball really well, knocking it across nicely, and they've taken their chance as well, which is important. And when it comes to the end of the season, it's all about results, and you have to take these chances.
Of course, Guiseley, they beat North Ferriby United. They could be beating Telford today. It seems Guiseley, whenever they play the big teams, they step up to the plate, especially at Nethermoor.
Yeah, it does, and I don't know if that's been different to the start of the season. Really, they've possibly struggled at the start of the season against some of the bigger teams, but at the same time they've got some results earlier on in the season. So I don't know if it's been a big change for Guiseley there. But what you can say is, at the moment, yeah, they are coming against the teams that are higher up in the league. So on paper, they're expected to come here and do well. But what we've seen today is that Guiseley, at the moment, are a match for anybody in this league. And it's really promising when we're on this push towards the playoffs. So, yeah, really encouraging signs.
Well, Tim, we will be talking about this fantastic half-time score in a few moments' time. Just going through some of the half-time scores now. And in the UEFA Champions League, I know the big games at Nethermoor, but there are some UEFA Champions League games as well. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0, and Manchester United 0, Bayern Munich 0. Apparently Danny Welbeck has had one or two big chances in that game. Could come back to haunt Manchester United in the second leg. In the Championship, Blackburn 2, Brighton 1. Of course, Blackburn are a side with not that much to play for. They are trying to get into the playoffs, but that probably won't happen. As for Brighton, they're right in the mix at the moment. Now they're in a position where they're going to be losing yet another match. Leeds United, it's been a difficult few weeks for them. Well, at the moment, they will be getting a point against another side who have had their problems in Charlton. It's 0-0. And Wigan 1, Leicester 1, a big game at the top of the Championship. In League 1, it's Coventry 0, Bradford 0, Port Vale 0, Crawley 1, Sheffield United 0, Brentford 0, and Stevenage 0, Wolves 0. And only one game in Sky Bet League 2. And that score is Bury 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Well, some scores as well in the Skrill Premier. Of course, this is where Telford and Guiseley will be both aiming to be there for next season. You never know, both might make it. If Telford can get that automatic place, if Guiseley can then win in the playoffs, let's hope so. Well, for Guiseley's sake, definitely. The scores in the Skrill Premier: Dartford 1, Luton 0, Macclesfield 0, Cambridge 0, Southport 0, Braintree 1, Woking 0, Forest Green 0, and Wrexham 0, Grimsby 1. Now to the big scores in the Skrill North. And, well, Tim, I'll go through the scores, give you thought if you want. Altrincham 0, Boston 0. Of course, two sides that were right up there in the playoffs, but at the moment both would be dropping 2 points, and Guiseley can take full advantage.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's for that side, for those teams, it could be an all right point for Guiseley if they hold it and keep it 0-0 there. So that could be a good score for Guiseley if it stays like that. Maybe.
It's Colwyn Bay 1, Workington 0, and of course Workington are bottom of the league. They're in a position now where really they need to be getting some wins. It's not happening for them today. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, it's a one that Workington do need to win, and Colwyn Bay leading at half time could be troubling signs for Workington. Well,
Gloucester 0, Oxford City 0, two sides that are in a position where they are both trying to get out of that relegation place. Of course, it's Guiseley 2, Telford 0, and it's Hendersford 0, Brackley 1, and in a position there where, again, two sides in the playoff places. For Guiseley, it's good in one sense that one of the sides are dropping 3 points, but in another sense, it's bad that one of the sides are gaining 3 points.
Yeah, it is. It's always a tough one at the end of the season, isn't it? When those kind of those two teams that you're not too sure whether they should, if you need them to get a point, get the 3 points or not. And for Brackley winning there, yeah, that might not be the best thing for Guiseley. But I guess all we can focus on for this game is just winning these 3 points. But yeah, having a look at the table as well, it's a live update, is that Guiseley at the moment are in 6th, so they're a point outside the playoffs. So if Brackley do slip up, then Guiseley might move into will move into the playoffs tonight if they get the 3 points, obviously. And for Hednesford losing, though, that does open up the gap towards Guiseley. If they win tonight, up towards 4th place. But obviously we're jumping ahead of ourselves, getting excited with the playoffs, and obviously it's all on tonight's game and getting these 3 points. But yeah, encouraging signs possibly from tonight's results in the long run for Guiseley anyway.
After this fantastic first half performance, just what do you think Mark will have said to the lads? Is it just a case now of just trying to calm down? You're 2-0 up. Just don't get ahead of yourselves, because, of course, just like we're looking at the table. If these results stay the same, guys will be so near the playoffs, but you can't look at that. Game isn't played on paper. You've got to get the 3 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, you have, and I think what Mark will be saying is, because he'll tell them that Telford will come out fighting now, because they're not a poor side and they're not up there for nothing really this season. So they will come out fighting, and Guiseley, the most important thing for them I think they can do is not be complacent and not give in to anything that Telford will come out and really fight for. So I think he'll just say he'll be encouraging and tell them to do more of the same stuff that they've done in this first half. But yeah, just build them up and just not really give in to what Telford will come out, and I'm sure they will fight up against.
Well, at half-time then it is 2-0 to Guiseley. Danny Ellis with a fantastic goal. Not a central defender's finish, that is for sure. And Gavin Rothery with one of these marvellous goals, cutting inside, a blasted shot right into the corner. Keeper, well, maybe could have saved it. He seemed to get a hand on it, but 2 pieces of quality, and it's great to see for Guiseley.
It really is, yeah, and it was 2 great goals. Ellis is in a different way to Rothery's, I have to say. But yeah, just on Rothery's, it was a great moment as Reece Maynell, the substitute, came on, and from left back I heard him shouting down the line, give me the ball, Gav. And Gav didn't give him the ball, turned away from his man, shot in, and then Reece went over and started celebrating with him. So that was a great moment. But yeah, it was a great individual goal from Gavin Rothery. Really enjoyed seeing him pull away from his man, who tried to cynically foul him in the area as well. the Telford man. But Rothery did really well to stay on his feet and smash it into the top corner. And yeah, bringing it to Ellis's goal. I think the most important thing about Danny Ellis at the moment is he's been missing from the side, and he has been a big miss because he gets goals as well as defending them. And over the past few games, that's been really important for Guiseley. Is not shipping goals at the moment, and it's started to creep in. So from this first half, it's been great that Danny Ellis has actually helped shore up the defence as well. I think that's a massive part. So yeah, massive bonus for Guiseley having Danny Ellis back in the.
Well, while it is so great that guys have scored 2 goals, of course, Telford have had their chances. On another day, they may have got 1 or 2. Danny Ellis with a fantastic clearance off the line before his goal. So it is a case that Telford, they will bring an attacking threat in the second half.
Yeah, they will. And they've got goals in them as we've seen this season. So they definitely will come out with an attacking threat. But so far in this first half, I think Stephen Drench has dealt really well. He's come off his line really quickly, as we know with Drench. He's a great keeper in that way, to get straight off his line and clear it out. So he's been a real positive for Guiseley in this first half, and hopefully he can keep that up in the second.
Well, if either side do want to make a substitute, of course, guys have already made one. Reese Maynell coming on for Ben Parker, who's taken off as a precaution. The substitutes for Guiseley then, when you look at them, a few attacking options as well. So you've got Danny Forrest, Michael Potts and Kevin Holsgrove, and then the sub-keeper Stephen Dickinson. Just, in terms of the bench and 3 quite attacking players, Kevin Holsgrove, he'd bring something else, another dimension onto the pitch if he came on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of experience there as well, and that could be what needs to happen for the second half for Guiseley, is bring on a bit of experience like the likes of Holsgrove or Forrest, who know this kind of game, who know how to see it out. So that could add something to the side if they come on and bring that. But as the teams come out now, I'm sure Mark will just be keeping the Guiseley lads in just for a little bit longer, just to give them a last shout and get that final word in before they come out in the second half, and make sure it's just exactly right for the second half, and hopefully hold on to this precious 3 points.
Well, Telford players have already come out. The Guiseley players are now coming out now to a good round of applause, a good few claps from fans, and this is a fantastic position for Guiseley to be in. They're 2-0 up. They've scored 2 really good goals. Telford have had their chances though, and they will be a danger in the second half, and full second half match commentary will be coming right real soon. The players are now getting into a position. They're on the pitch, they're all out. The referee and officials don't seem to be at the moment, but they are now just coming onto the pitch, and it is now time then to pass back to Nick Keefe, but first of all, Colin Robertson.
Thank you, Tom. A little bit of a shuffle once again in the press box up here while we get back into position. Just a quick shout out, because there is a game going on tomorrow. If anyone is in the area for the Guiseley Academy lads taking on Macclesfield, they're playing at the Ben Ridding Sports Ground on the edge of Ilkley, and that's a very good opportunity, I think, to see the bright young talent that we've got. And also, just before we get underway, I think let's just make reference to the ladies' side. It's doing so well. Last week beating York City 3-2 and having a tremendous run of winning streak. So it's a good number of sides in Guiseley doing well. And this evening, the Lions, first team, are in great form, leading 2-0 at the break. But Telford and Guiseley are both back out. And there's going to be a substitute and a change for Telford as they get ready to kick off. They've taken off Sean Clancy and introduced a man who needs no introduction to Guiseley, Mike Phoenix.
Yeah, buckle up, there's a pun coming on that fairly soon.
Telford immediately on the attack, get the ball into Grogan, into the area. Phoenix is on the end of it, gets the ball back out wide, the ball whipped in, up towards Owens, headed away. Owens has gone through the back of, I think it's Holdsworth, who's gone down onto the ground. I think Owens was trying to win the head, but there's a bit of a collision there. Holdsworth just holds his head and the referee stops play.
Yeah, a knock to the back of the head, one of those kind of painful ones. He's just shaking it off and getting himself back up to his feet. It was no surprise, was it, to see Telford were out early after half-time. They were straight back out of the tunnel, and obviously with the manager's words ringing in their ears. And here it comes, hoping to rise like a phoenix back into this game in the second half.
I think it's a phoenix, actually, to be
Well,
fair. He played at Skelmersdale and was one of the side. I seem to remember him being part of that side that beat us in the FA Trophy.
Yeah, sorry, I was just watching another slightly strange challenge between Alex Johnson and Neil Byrne. It's been I've been enjoying, as I've been saying, watching those two tussling, but it's getting quite physical.
Telford have started very positively here. Andy Owens now for the visitors. Lays it into the feet of Grand. Grand sends a good ball down this left-hand side. Owens gets it into the area. Ellis clears up only as far as Alan Mugan. Telford, who look like they've had the flea in their ear at half-time, coming out, getting the ball into the area. Great interception from Reese Maynell to take the ball away from Farrell, who was lurking, ready to pounce. And it's been picked up now by Telford, and Guiseley have got a chance to counter-attack. Gavin Rothery into the feet of Boys. Good distribution from Boys. Finds Brooksby. Brooksby, 20 yards from goal. Chance to have a run at the fullback. Gets past his man into the area after riding a challenge. And eventually a tackle comes in. And unbelievably, Guiseley have won a penalty. And we stopped for a minute because we thought he had given a goal kick. But I can honestly say, I have no idea how we've got that penalty. But Guiseley have a penalty after a cracking challenge from Mike Grogan on Wayne Brooksby. He clearly won the ball and knocks it out into touch, but there's no question, is there? Everyone went quiet, thought he'd given a goal kick, and the furor was about to arrive for that.
Well, I'm as baffled as you are, Colin. The ball went out. It looked like an obvious corner. The referee pointing wasn't clear whether he was pointing to the spot or to signal a goal kick, and there was a long, it felt like an age in the ground while we just sort of, everybody waited in silence trying to understand why he'd given a goal kick, and then it became clear he's given a penalty.
We are flabbergasted, and this is a beautiful chance here for the Lions. Here with the penalty, Rothery steps up, blasts it into the bottom left-hand corner, and it may not be justice, but it's certainly valuable for the Lions. And on 48 minutes, a second goal for Gavin Rothery means that Guiseley now lead by 3-0.
Well, I never saw the 2-0 lead coming. I certainly didn't see the 3-0 lead coming. Telford came out and they have really gone for it straight after the break, doing exactly what you would expect them to do, trying to get themselves back into the game. They got undone a little bit by Wayne Brooksby's pace at the back. Looked like they'd conceded a corner, and the referee's given the penalty instead. And if I was a Telford fan, I'd be feeling pretty sick right now.
They'd come out very brightly. Guiseley needed something to relieve the pressure in the first couple of minutes. It was the first foray forward. A great run from Wayne Brooksby. Let's not lose any of that. A super run from Brooksby into the penalty area that encouraged a tackle to come in. And we thought he'd won a corner. But Guiseley have got better than that from the referee here. And now have to hold on just as Telford look to get an immediate response to that third goal for Guiseley. It's forward now by Worley. Worley up to the back post. Phoenix gets the shot in. Comfortably saved by Stephen Drench. And just a sign there of the threat that Phoenix can make. And Guiseley just need to be very alive as Telford, feeling the injustice of the penalty and feeling the need to get back into this game soon, are looking to get back into this hard. But Guiseley have the ball now in the centre circle with Wayne Brooksby. A little dummy from Danny Boschel allows Guiseley to go forward, sends it up towards Adam Boys. Nobody gets on the end of it. It's picked up now by Telford inside the Guiseley half, but a good tackle from Reese Maynell sends it back into Telford's half, and Neil Byrne has to knock it out for a Guiseley throw.
And that's exactly what Guiseley need to be doing. Telford are going to be absolutely livid. They're going to be feeling so unjustly done to. The players are going to be furious. Guiseley need to not get sucked into any of that. Just carry on playing their game and see if they can consolidate this 3-goal advantage.
Picked up now by Rothery, sent into the area towards Danny Boschel, taken down by Alex Johnson. Goes out towards the byline. Good tackling from the fullback, Wes Baines. And he blasts it against Johnson and earns a goal kick.
Well, I was going to say after half-time, Telford obviously were going to be desperate to get back into the game, and that was going to give Guiseley opportunities to make chances on the break, and that's essentially what Wayne Brooksby did. Telford had got all the men forward. Brooksby came out with pace as he does, and forced the defender into what we assumed at the time was conceding a corner. which was going to be good. That was going to be good news for me. The fact that we scored the third goal as part of that, we'll have to see and see if the referee tells the managers afterwards what exactly he gave that for.
Now Telford come forward here with Owens. Owens into the area, up towards Worley. Good tackle from Danny Ellis. Picked up now by Danny Boschel. He's got Brooksby charging down the right-hand side. Can't find him, goes in field. Now Boys does. Brooksby picks up the ball, has a run right on the right-hand flank. Guys, they've got players joining him in the area now if Brooksby can deliver the cross. He drills it across to the edge of the area to Danny Boschel on the edge of the D. Into Rothery. Rothery takes a shot, takes a deflection. Telford don't want to let that go out for a corner. They look like they were going to do so for a minute. And it's a poor piece of defending from the visitors. They've conceded a throw when they really should have cleared.
No, I think they're in shock a little bit, the visitors. They're just astonished. I wonder when the last time Telford found themselves in a 3-0 losing position actually was. But they need to get their head straight, otherwise they're going to leave themselves open at the back.
Guiseley with a throw and towards Rothery, headed out. He holds with trundles across to take it. Guiseley have players in and around that penalty area, still looking to turn the screw, maybe get the fourth. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Holdsworth takes it short, finds Brooksby. Brooksby cuts in field, loses his man into the penalty area, continues, goes down towards the byline, overruns it, but good running again from Wayne Brooksby. And at the moment, it doesn't look like Telford really know how to handle him.
Well, no, and he can come into his own in these positions because Telford can't sit back. They're not in a position where they can just defend and sit tight. They're going to be pushing men forward, and Brooksby, with the pace he's got, he can create danger all the way throughout the second half.
Picked up now by Jake Lawler in midfield, lofted forward by Brooksby. Guiseley now pick up a loose ball from Byrne. Adam Boyes charging into the edge of the area, goes towards goal, plays it past the goalkeeper, and would you? Adam Boyes has struck a fourth for Guiseley. Unbelievable, the ball forward, Byrne slipped, Boyes went it through on goal and just put it underneath the goalkeeper. Guiseley 4, Telford 0.
I'm struggling to believe what we're seeing. I'm struggling to believe it. It was a shambolic touch, if we're honest, by the defender Byrne. All at sea, just bounced off the end of Byrne's foot. Played in. Adam Boyes had an awful lot to do, did Boyes. He was still 30 yards from goal. He went past Byrne to the edge of the area, out onto his left, and on his left foot rifled it home along the ground. Too much on it for the keeper, even at the near post. Astonishing stuff, though. 4-0 against Telford after Saturday.
I can't think of the last time we beat a team 4-0. Guiseley concede possession inside their own half rather cheaply here, and he holds with hitting touch. There's plenty of this game to go. And, I know that sounds ridiculous giving you 4-0 up, but there's still plenty to do. Guiseley now have got to defend. Grogan on the edge of the D, lays it back here to Mugan. Mugan sprays it out to the right-hand side where Baines tries to cross. Finds Farrell inside the penalty area, but he has to go back. Worley gets a chipped cross, knocked behind, and it's going to be a corner kick to Telford. And as we are 54 minutes into this game, Telford's first corner, I think, of the second half will come in from the right-hand side. Played in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Brooksby, chested down and drilled back in there by Farrell, but it's wide and out for a goal kick.
Now, being realistic, at 4-0, I appreciate that you want to be cautious, Colin, but realistically, there's only quite a short window here that Guiseley need to settle down, steady the ship. And very soon, I think you'll see the despondency start to set in amongst the Telford players when they realise there's not enough of the game left. And give Guiseley a sensible for the next 10 minutes. If they can keep this as it is, Telford will start to realise that the mountain's too high to climb and the result's already decided.
And they've still got quite some attacking threat here of Telford, and they, like you say, I think the next 10 minutes or so are absolutely critical.
Oh, if Telford score 2 in the next 10 minutes, then it's game on.
Yeah. Ifs and buts. It's 4-0 if you're just joining us in Guiseley AFC Radio this evening. The Lions are in tremendous form. Telford are a quality outfit, and so there's plenty to do. Fenix with the ball. Just loses it on the halfway line. Telford win the throw. Goal for Oxford City at Gloucester. Oxford City lead. Tom Winters, the man who caused a real difference to the game on Saturday, has scored to give Oxford an all-important lead in that crunch encounter at the bottom. Telford now with the ball inside Guiseley's half at the moment. Stuck 30 yards from goal. Bundle over Gavin Rothery. Rothery wins it up with a second attempt. Great work, and now Guiseley can have a little run and a counter-attack in towards Boys. Boys in brilliant form this evening. Lays it back here to Jake Lawler. And Guiseley just to cool it down. Back here to Andy Holdsworth. Sends it down the left-hand channel. And Byrne, who was looking pretty accomplished in the first half, looking a little bit nervous now, just hikes the ball into touch. Guiseley have a throw.
Well, that's why I say Guiseley don't need to force the pace here. They did exactly the right thing there, which is they took their time on the build-up and they just let the Telford players sort of concede the throw-in and concede the momentum themselves.
With a goal at the bottom, Workington have got a equaliser against Colwyn Bay. The throw has been conceded by Guiseley anyway, down in the right back position. Of course, we make a trip to Workington before the end of this season. That'll be another long away day. Still no goals between Altrincham and Boston United. Second substitution for the visitors. And it's Charlie Barnett who'll come on to replace Alan Moogan. So we're really trying to roll the dice one more time. And perhaps a foothold back in this game, but I keep having to say it to repeat it to myself. Guiseley leading by 4-0 at the moment, and a scoreline I don't think anyone would have predicted earlier on this evening.
Well, they've got to change something, haven't they? They can't leave it as it is. I'm not sure whether one change is going to make an enormous difference in the course of a game, but the manager can't, leave his team out there at 4-0 down without at least trying something from the bench to try and change the pattern of the game.
It's not been an unbalanced game, actually, and in balance, it's not been 4-0 guys who've dominated. But Telford just haven't taken the chances like the Lions have. Now they're into the area. It's picked up here by Boys. Boys will lay it back and laid into the area. Owens gets the ball into the box, punched away by Drench, headed on, and it's Chris Lever who's sent the ball forward in a thorough challenge with and eventually the ball returned into Telford's half. Goalkeeper Young lofts it into the Guiseley half, and in the end Farrell is caught offside, and no question really, he was lurking, waiting for the ball to come and be returned.
Such a silly rule though, that offside rule. Everybody on the pitch saw those players were offside, and as the ball's dropping down, the Guiseley defenders are starting to panic. They're looking and thinking, well, why isn't the linesman flagged? Of course the linesman can't flag until one of the Telford players actually gets near to touching the ball and can be considered to be active in the move. So obviously that's exactly what the Telford man was there for, to try and, who was offside, both of them. In fact, they were there to try and receive the ball. Of course they were active, but the linesman can't flag until about 3 or 4 seconds later when the ball actually drops to them.
Telford now have the ball inside their own half. Good work here from Alex Johnson. He's adjudged to have fouled Owens.
Yeah, whatever.
End, but we'll have to just let that one go, along with the Danny Boschel booking in the first half. You win some, you lose some. He got a penalty against them, haven't they, which is preposterous. Guiseley now concede possession inside their half as they look to counter-attack. Wayne Brooksby charging down the full-back Baines, but he does well, does Baines. Wins the ball back and then plays a really good ball in here to Owens. Owens gets the head in towards the goal. Doesn't have the direction or the pace that he'll have wanted, and it's comfortable for Stephen Drench in the end.
He was offside actually anyway as it goes. That was a late flag from the linesman again, but he was given offside, and Drench was just allowed to, with the ball in his hands, play the advantage and kick from hands.
Free kicks rather just being given to Telford in their own left back position. Adam Boyes adjudged to have fouled.
Pun news. There's been a positive response on Twitter to my
Guys, he concede the corner.
Oh, great pace by Wally. He's been dangerous all game. If anyone's going to make something happen in the penalty area for Telford, it does look like it's going to be him.
Guiseley 4-0 up here, but Telford with the corner. Whipped in towards the back post. Another magnificent header from Danny Ellis to clear. Only as far as Worley, though, who distributes again towards the back post. Great claim from Stephen Drench. And the Lions recover possession. And it's sent immediately downfield for Alex Johnson to chase. Good forcing of Wes Baines, who is forced to knock the ball into touch. But that was great counter-attack work there from Drench, and great effort and endeavour from Alex Johnson.
Well, as long as Telford are trying to get themselves back into this game, there is the opportunity for Guiseley to move forward with pace on the break. And that's exactly what Stephen Drench was trying to do there. Move it quickly and turn the possession up to the far end of the pitch.
Gavin Rothery now with the ball for Guiseley into the feet of Danny Boschel. 1-2 between Lawler and Boschel results in Boschel getting a very heavy challenge on him. And a free kick to Guiseley, some 30 yards from goal. We want 5.
Well, it's another cynical sort of ankle clip on Boschel this time. There's been a few of those in the game. It's been a very competitive game. It's been moving very quickly as well. Possession's been moving quickly. A lot of one-touch football, and that can draw a few fouls as well. I wonder what's more astonishing, really, the 4-0 score here, or the fact that apparently you're pointing out to me that Man United are beating Telford. They're equally. wait, no, hang on. That would be really weird. they're beating Bayern Munich, which is United beating Munich is probably almost as strange as what's happening here.
We'll take it. Workington are 2-1 up against Colwyn Bay. So Colwyn Bay now trailing after leading earlier in this game. The Lions here, of course, 4-0 to the good, and North Ferriby and Altrincham will enjoy watching that scoreline come in. Danny Boschel now up onto his feet and going off to get some treatment after that heavy challenge. Didn't look too serious, but no. Guys, now with a free kick.
Sorry, yeah, it might just be one to bring Michael Potts on for with the last half hour or so. Give him a bit of a run out.
Free kick from Wayne Brooksby, whips that one in. Comfortable for goalkeeper Ryan Young in this instance.
I say that just because Danny Boschel's played all of every game recently. You know, he's been working very, very hard, and maybe that knock ankles is in the result as it is. Maybe Mark might just be tempted just to 15-20 minutes off.
Poor ball from Telford. They just concede possession very cheaply. It's Simon Grand, the captain.
Whilst I'm jumping way ahead of myself, does this take the fear out of Telford if we were to draw them in the playoffs? I mean, I certainly, if you'd said there was a chance Telford might finish second if we were to finish fifth, I would have...
It's hard to imagine, but Guiseley would be in such a comfortable position at the beginning of this game, but they are good. And coming forward again with Danny Boschel. It was a dubious penalty, but there's not been any real, sending off decisions in their favour. Now there's a chance here for Owens to come forward. Andy Holdsworth concedes possession to him rather cheaply on the halfway line. Owens goes down the left-hand side, gets the ball into the area, headed away by Danny Hall. Wayne Brooksby collects the second ball, cuts in field, but he's dispossessed. A bit sloppy here from Guiseley. And Grogan wins possession back, but Guiseley still hold out. And it's taken forward and sent up towards Alex Johnson. Telford win that back and send it towards Phoenix. Phoenix with a little back heel brings Baines into the play. Cross into the area, blocked by Guiseley, out for a throw-in.
Must be so difficult to hold your concentration at 4-0 up and feeling like you're sure for victory. But that's exactly what Guiseley have to do. They've been a little bit sloppy and a little bit overconfident just in that last minute or two. And it's given Telford some dangerous possession for the first time in about 15 minutes.
Ball just in front of us at the moment. We just have some movement in front of us in the press box here, holding on to the equipment. But Telford have won a free kick inside Guiseley's half, and they're going to throw everyone forward for this. It's about level with the centre circle, right on the right-hand side. Everyone right up on the edge of the 18-yard box. The ball whipped in, every player in that area. Stephen Drench comes off his line. Phoenix will get a shot in on goal. Guiseley eventually clear, battered away by Brooksby on the edge of the 6-yard box. Picked up once again, though, by Telford. A run at goal for Worley, though, now down this left flank. He's got boys shadowing him and holding him up as a makeshift right back. The ball distributed into the area, headed home. Telford have the goal back. It was coming, actually, after that move, and it was Mike Phoenix, the man who always seems to create something against Guiseley, who scored the goal. It's now Guiseley 4, Telford 1.
Surely too late for... they can hear me pausing even as I try to say that confidently. Surely too late for a Telford comeback, but it's exactly what we said, which is Telford have carried a goal threat throughout the game. They've always looked like they could make something, and all of that started with a free kick where every Guiseley player bar Alex Johnson was inside their own area, and Johnson was only about 10 yards outside of the area. They were penned back so deep, and Telford were able to hold on long enough to make something happen in the area.
Big test this for Guiseley for me now. After the 2 games where we've thrown 2-goal leads, the last thing we want to do is throw away this one. Worley now runs into the area, goes to ground, gets a penalty. No, he doesn't. He goes to ground, and we thought for almost a certain that Sean Worley was going to get the penalty there, but the referee instead pointed the arm up the other way and brings out the yellow card.
I'll be honest, I can only call it as I see it. I thought that was a Telford penalty. I thought Worley had turned in the box, and as he's turned, just had his feet trapped or his ankles kind of clipped or trapped against the ground, and he's gone down just as he was changing direction and outfoxing the Guiseley defender. But
I suspect their manager will want to speak to the referee after the game.
Yeah, there's been a couple of strange ones now.
But we've got away with it. And what we've got to do is stop digging so deep. We're letting them come on to us an awful lot in the last 5 minutes or so. It's 4-1 at the moment, though. There's 20 minutes to go. The Lions leading 4-1. Guiseley have just conceded, though, and Telford have got a bit of momentum since that goal. And now Charlie Barnett, the substitute, in possession inside the Telford half. Sends it back to the goalkeeper, Ryan Young. And this one will go direct, no doubt, up towards the halfway line. Nodded on by Jake Lawler, picked up in the second phase once again. Immediately, Guiseley almost retreats to the edge of their 18-yard box. It's played forward now. Good tackling this time from Andy Holdsworth, who breaks that line and tackles Wally. Infield here to Jake Lawler. Lawler sends it forward. Not much direction on that pass. Little for boys to get onto the end of. And in the end, it's sent back by the captain, Grand. But Phoenix this time times his run poorly and is caught offside.
Yeah, well offside that time. But guys, they just need to not be forcing these passes forward to no one in particular. And they've done very well in the game when they've moved it around in midfield, used the width, used the wide players. What they really don't need to be doing is speculative balls that pass the possession back to the visiting team, because with one goal back into it and all the anger of feeling like the referee's not giving them a fair shake, they are still really up for this, and they think they might be able to get something out of the game yet.
Hensford now lead 2-0. And in the meanwhile, the ball sent back into Guiseley's half from the free kick. Stephen Drench watches it well, nods it on. Drench has to come out and intercept this time at right back. Sends it up to the halfway line. Good work from Brooksby. Sends it through to Johnson. Johnson infield now to Jake Lawler, just inside the centre circle. Sends it to the left where Gavin Rothery can have a bit of a run. Looks like there's a Guiseley sub warming up. Rothery still goes towards the byline. Keeps running. Can he get this back across the face of goal? It is! And it's put in! Alex Johnson! Alex Johnson has made it 5-1. And it was all the work of Gavin Rothery, who got down to the byline, played it back across the face of the 6-yard box, and the ball into the back of the net by Alex Johnson.
Well, we said as long as Telford were trying to get back into this game, there would be the opportunity to get in behind their defence because of the way they were going to be moving forward and trying to get up the pitch. That's exactly what Gavin's done there. He's gotten behind them into the most dangerous area, down by the byline. Got it across into the box. And has the goal been given to the wrong man there by Bruce again? Certainly looked like Alex Johnson to me. He's really looked like the real deal since he's got himself match fit. It took him a few games to get going after arriving at Guiseley, but since then he's looked like a proper big striker, proper tall, hard, fast, sharp striker. Just the perfect sort that we needed, and he's worked so hard tonight up there with Alex Johnson, and it makes sense to bring Holsgrove on, to bring some fresh power and pace on, and give Boys a little chance to get himself recharged for Saturday.
Guiseley 5, Telford 1.
Yeah.
We haven't gone crazy.
Well, I'm just, again, not wanting to jump ahead, but I'm going to. Our goal difference hasn't been spectacular really this season, has it? You know, after the start to the season we had and the difficulties with the defence earlier on in the campaign, but to get a few positive marks in the goals for column is really helpful.
Colwyn Bay 2, Workington 2. Another substitute as well here. This time Tony Gray is coming on for Mike Grogan. Don't know quite what they perhaps can plan. There's 14 minutes to go. Guiseley 5-1 up. You would think that the Lions have got the points in the bag. But after recent weeks with Oxford City and Stockport County, you wouldn't take anything for granted. Owen's now charging down that left-hand side, and would you believe it, Wayne Brooksby, with brilliant defensive duties, takes the ball away, turns his man and sends it upfield for Alex Johnson. The ball back in here to Tony Gray. Square to Worley. Gray. And square now here to Farrell. Farrell about to take the shot. Blocked well by Danny Boschel. Boschel sends a good ball out here to Kevin Holsgrove. Holsgrove a chance to run at Byrne. Goes down towards the left-hand side. Holsgrove doesn't get the better of him but the first attempt, but does it the second. Goes into the penalty area. Can he get the shot away? Tries to lay it across to Johnson. And it's a block on the edge of the 6-yard box that sends it clear, but guys, he still have men forward. Out to the left hand here with Gavin Rothery, who comes in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Takes Byrne on again. He's held up this time by Byrne. Lays it back to Holsgrove. Holsgrove and Rothery get their lines a little bit mixed up. And this time the ball's out for a throw-in.
Well, poor old Neil Byrne, who's had a torrid evening up there with Alex Johnson and Adam Boys. Johnson in particular, really. Now finds himself up against Kevin Holsgrove, who's playing for his place in the first team. Absolutely did him for pace and strength. And his evening's just getting more and more difficult, isn't it, Byrne? In the meantime, was this the change I called about 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, it absolutely is, Nick. You know, it's a sensible change, though, as you say. Michael Potts coming on for Danny Boschel. Of course, Boschel also on the yellow card from the first half, preposterously. And then equally took a knock as well in the second, and we certainly want to conserve his legs, given that we've got a fair chance of getting the points here. And if you're tuning in, Guiseley lead by 5-1. Yes, that's right, we are playing Telford. The Lions just concede a free kick there on the halfway line. Jake Lawler.
I was going to say that was the softest free kick of the night, but just remembering the penalty.
So I'm sort of giggling manically.
Well, it's a bit strange, isn't it? I don't think we know what to say about this.
It's a bit embarrassing. Wes Baines with a free kick on the halfway line for Telford. They can still get another one back into this. There's a little push on Stephen Drench. Ball's put in the back of the net, but couldn't really be any question other than the free kick from that.
No, clear foul on the keeper. That's always going to be given. I think the reason we're so giddy is Saturday just felt like a defeat, didn't it? If Saturday was a non-event of a game, neither team played particularly well. We were okay. We deserved to be 3-1 up. We should have seen the game out. And it just felt like an absolute desperate occasion. And all the way home, you were telling me how the season was over. We weren't getting it. It was done. We weren't getting into the playoffs. There was no chance of that happening now, and that's why we're a bit. It couldn't be any more different tonight from what we went through on Saturday, without losing. It has to be said. You know, we didn't get beaten down there.
Telford have the ball once again in Guiseley's half. Good tackle there from Gavin Rothery. Takes the ball away, gives it to Jake Lawler. Lawler sends a beautiful ball forward. Kevin Holsgrove gets clear of the back line, plays a poor ball square. He tried to feed it into Alex Johnson. I'm sure he should have taken a shot, actually, in that instance. AJ holds his hands in the air because it was a good recovery tackle. Sends it behind for a corner, though.
He must feel like he can't win, Kev Holsgrove, because that he's taken some stick for backing himself to shoot in recent weeks. He should have had a go there. He glided past Byrne. Clearly got far more in his legs than Byrne has at this stage of the game. And it looked to all the world like it was one that he should. It looked like the same position that Boys buried his on from his left, and it looked like Holsgrove should be trying the same thing. And instead, he's tried to find Johnson and failed.
Brooksby with the corner. Poor corner in this instance, cleared easily. Won back well by Danny Hall as he was making his way back into his own half. Laid out towards Wayne Brooksby, who has a second bite of the cherry. Having a fantastic evening himself, playing some great football. This time Guiseley fans are doing a little bit of an Olole shout as Guiseley tried to get a string of passes together. And in the end, Holsgrove, well, that's a gift from the referee as a judge to have backed into his man. I have to say that's another strange decision.
It's another shambolic free kick, isn't it? Let's not address it all. But as the game goes on, it's clear that maybe it's got the better of him in the second half, the referee. And I think he did a good job in the first, but he's just got a little bit silly recently.
Difficult when you get a call so badly wrong. And whether he got the Telford penalty right or wrong, I couldn't say. But it's compounded, isn't it, by the fact that he's had to make he's made one very bad decision.
Yeah. I think also the linesman had something to do with it, from the way the linesman had sort of stepped in and come across. I think maybe the linesman was something to do with giving the guys the penalty, so maybe that's what he'll tell the managers as well afterwards.
Guiseley have just got a bit of defensive duties to here, and Gavin Rothery's gifted the ball away. Worley goes through on goal. It's a chance here for a Telford second. Good saving tackle from Danny Ellis. Still here with Baines. Baines goes through, takes a shot. Great blocking challenge from Andy Holdsworth. There's 4 players on the ground holding their heads in despair.
Oh, chaotic defending all round, wasn't it? I mean, the ball's bobbling around in the box. No one can get it clear. No one can get a foot through it for a proper shot either. Like you say, ending with 3 players down and Stephen Drench having no choice but to roll the ball out of play for the Telford striker, who's still on his haunches.
I think it's Owens, isn't it? It was an incredible moment, really. You felt that they were going to just force the ball over the line, but in the end, it was a great saving tackle from Andy Holdsworth to deny the shot. It fell comfortably into the hands of Stephen Drench, just as it looked like Wes Baines was going to force the ball home. Been a super evening. I'm not sure. Did you hear who the announcement of the sponsors man of the match today was?
I think it was Stephen Drench, which you can't fault really for the first half heroics and great sweeping work. But we'll have to double check that. But, in the meantime, there's a few Guiseley players looking worse for wear. Danny Ellis is limping a little bit. Danny Hall, Andy Holdsworth have both been crouching down, trying to get some air and see themselves through to the end of this game. There's been a huge expenditure of energy and bodies have been on the line all night, and the only thing is getting to the end of this result, just remembering how much more is still ahead for these lads, and with no break in sight, they need to get themselves back into the changing rooms at the end of this game, get themselves stretched off properly and warmed down, and get rested up.
So it was indeed Gavin Rothery who is tonight's match sponsors. I was just doing a little bit of research there because we couldn't hear either with our headphones on.
That makes more sense, to be fair.
Energy Plus Management, who are tonight's match sponsors, have given Gavin Rothery the Man of the Match award, and not really much argument up here. I mean, there's plenty that could have been in contention. Wayne Brooksby's had a fantastic evening. Alex Johnson. Ball back here, and like you say, Stephen Drench too, called into pivotal moments.
It'll be a slightly less uncomfortable interview for you after the game today than it was. I don't think any of us knew what to say, did we, on Saturday? But I imagine he'll be feeling a little bit more cheerful than he was at 5:30 on Saturday when you spoke to him, will Mark Bauer.
Clearance now from Guiseley. Kevin Holsgrove goes chasing it. The ball awkwardly bounces in front of him. Still takes it down. Wes Baines follows him out to the corner flag. Holsgrove keeps possession, sends it back here to Gavin Rothery. Rothery could send it infield, opts to go back to Michael Potts. Potts under pressure, turns well. Guiseley have it right out on that touchline, and Gavin Rothery's got 3 players around him. Eventually, Guiseley concede possession. Danny Ellis has to clear because a good long ball forward found Wally, and Guiseley earn a free kick. Mike Phoenix, who squares up to Danny Hall. Danny Hall is livid about the tackle on him. And referee comes across, tells Phoenix and Hall to just calm themselves down. No further action. If you are just joining us with 6 minutes to go, tuning in to see what the scoreline is here, it's incredible. It's 5-1 to the Lions. They've had a tremendous evening of football. Guiseley racing into a 4-0 lead into the second half. 2-0 in the first half. 2 early goals in the second half. Telford got one back, and then a goal from Alex Johnson to make it 5-1. It's effectively finished this game off. We have 5 minutes to go. The ball's just hoofed out into touch for a Guiseley throw inside the Telford half, up there on the left-hand side. And Guiseley will be taking their time to take this, and I think both sides know the game is up. Eventually, Gavin Rothery's trundling over to collect the ball, much to criticism from the away fans.
Well, no rush, and Telford would be doing the same if they were in this situation. And Guiseley, there's just no need to expend any unnecessary energy. If Kevin Holsgrove or Michael Potts wants to make a bit of running, then that's fine. But the rest of them just need to be sensible and not play themselves into any trouble, and not create any situations where they need to be making any last-minute sprints, I think.
It's a poor ball from Andy Holsworth. I'm not sure he merits the criticism from the crowd this evening.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. We're beating probably the best team in the league 5-1. You know, you can't be berating your own players from the stands like that.
The odd stray ball does not hardly matter. Great tackle here from Danny Hall, just as it looked for a moment as though Phoenix was going to get goal side on the edge of the D, but a super challenge there from Hall, and it's cleared, and a header from Jake Lawler keeps Telford at bay, but they've still got the ball in the centre circle with Charlie Barnett. Barnett lays it to the right-hand side, and it's sent long by Baines up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Evades everyone and goes out for a goal kick.
11 games unbeaten, I make this now. I mean, that's a heck of a run to be putting together at this stage of any season.
And what an evening we're having here. Hensford, by the way, have got a goal back. Sullivan scoring 2-1. They trail to Brackley at home. Last we heard, it was still 0-0 between Altrincham and Boston, which is something that has quite a setup for this for the playoff. And guys at the moment just have a sniff of a chance as the ball's sent over the back line, looking for Holsgrove. It's cleared into touch and headed out for a throw-in. Colwyn Bay now 3-2. Rob Hopley scoring. They lead Workington by 3-2, so another miserable evening for Workington. And we have no more than 2 minutes to go of normal time, plus whatever the referee adds on here.
No, I think I just heard from the BBC Shropshire guys that Munich have equalised in the Champions League, so we can now officially say this is the most improbable scoreline of the evening.
I just noticed Alan Alger has also tweeted to say that was his best bet of the evening, as well as Guiseley to win at home to Telford.
Well done him. And
yeah, but I bet he didn't get the scoreline, did he?
I hope he. No, I don't think anyone got that. But I hope he picks Mark Bauer for manager of the month for March as well. I think it was something like 9 games and 6 wins or something insane like that in the month of March.
Liam Watson it was.
Oh, was it?
Ball's into the area. Guys, you have another chance here. Alex Johnson! Oh, my word! He turned the defence and has made it. Guiseley 6, Telford 1.
And the chant from the home fans, quite predictably, because we enjoy a good joke here against one of the top teams in the league, is easy.
Well, this is an evening that will live long into the memory. 2006, we said it before, the last time guys had taken points off Telford. 2006, 8 years ago. Max Stewart getting the goal. And this evening, we've got 6. Guiseley lead Telford United, who could have gone top of the table this evening with a win, or a point, I think. As it is, they have been beaten comprehensively by Guiseley. 6-1.
Now, Colin, tell me honestly, if Oxford City was a game that we should have won, and playing Telford is a game we had no reason to expect would be a win, if we were going to get 4 points from those 2 games, where would you have preferred the win? Would you have preferred we closed it out on Saturday and got a boring 1-1 tonight, or would you take the 3-3 down there now and in return get this 6-goal? Can you believe that? Which one would you have taken?
All right.
No. I mean, it wasn't.
I was despondent on Saturday.
It wasn't the choice presented to us. They didn't say on Saturday, "Don't worry if you draw this game because you'll win the one on Tuesday by 5 goals."
Guys, they now have to watch because Telford come forward. They come forward here and have to do a bit of defensive work with Owens. Sends it towards Phoenix. Phoenix is sent away by Danny Ellis, who's been magnificent this evening as well and scored a wonderful goal to open the scoring. Poor ball from Telford, gives the ball to Holsgrove. Alex Johnson's on a hat-trick. He's searching for it. Doesn't get it this time. Potts finds Holsgrove. Holsgrove on the right-hand side decides to run at his defender. This time it's well defended by Grand. It's a horror show from Telford's point of view. They're just giving the ball left, right and centre. Jake Lawler returns the favour, hands it back to Farrell. Farrell comes forward. Terrible challenge there, right at the end. And it was that Farrell who went through, and I'm not sure, it was Potts, is it, who's gone into, and it's a really bad challenge. The referee...
It's Gavin Rothery.
Going straight to the card. Yeah, it's Gavin Rothery, isn't it? Rothery's looking like he'll be okay, but it was a really unnecessary tackle, and the card straight away out. And it's Farrell who goes into the book.
It was a horror challenge as well because the pace that it happened. Rothery upended it way up in the air after he got hit hard. Fortunately, it doesn't look to have come off too worse for wear from it, but that would have taken the icing off of the cake at the end of this. An injury to a Guiseley player.
Minute and 30 seconds to go.
And let's not forget Ben Parker was injured earlier tonight as well. So that, it hasn't come through it completely scot-free. For those of us who like to look on the
negative side of things. Not pessimistic, Nick. Just don't like to jinx things.
I know.
The ball's taken forward now here with Owens for Telford. He goes down the left-hand side, plays it infield to Barlett. A nice little interplay. It's broken up, though, on the edge of the D, and Guiseley can come away with it. Kevin Holsgrove sending it long, looking for Alex Johnson. Beaten away this time. Gavin Rothery picks up the loose ball. Johnson collects into the last minute of this added time. Guiseley leading 6-1. And a good evening all round. Sent back by Rhys Maynell to the goalkeeper, Stephen Drench. And Drench launches it long and returns it all the way to Ryan Young. And Ryan Young and Telford, not surprisingly, look completely deflated and defeated. And the final whistle goes, and it has been an absolutely incredible evening. And it all started wonderfully in the first half. It took half an hour for either side to break the deadlock. Danny Ellis it was. A cool finish on the edge of the 6-yard box, finishing nicely after a good ball in from Danny Boschel. The second came from Gavin Rothery on 38, a wonderful solo run in the first half. And in the second, well, the goals went in left, right and centre. It was a penalty after Telford had started so brightly that was very debatable, very controversial indeed. Rothery didn't ask any questions, buried the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. And then when Adam Boyes made it 4, the evening looked set. 4-1 it was after a goal came back from Mike Phoenix, who always seems to score against the Lions when he turns out for them. But then Alex Johnson piped up with 2 goals of his own in the final 15 minutes. And the incredible scoreline of 6-1 was wrapped up. And it's been a fantastic evening. Unbelievably, Guiseley 6, Telford 1.
I said at the start, I was sort of expecting a Tonkin tonight, but if there was going to be a big result, I certainly didn't expect it to be in favour of Guiseley. And Mark Bauer's got to take a lot of credit, because after a real despondent atmosphere around the ground as we were leaving on Saturday, he's turned out his best 11, he's sent them back out there against the one of the top teams in the division, and they've turned out a performance that's left them shell-shocked to the point that Telford have capitulated in a way that I doubt they knew they were capable of. Because whatever we say about the referee's decisions, and Guiseley played very well, but Telford have got to be worried about the way that they played in the second half and the way that they collapsed under a bit of pressure has got to worry them as well. And it's a credit to the way that Guiseley have come in mentally to tonight's game, that they've produced a performance that's done that to a team like Telford after what they went through down at Oxford City just a few days ago.
Well, what a response it's been. Matt Bauer asked his troops to respond, and how have they responded this evening? They've thumped the team that could have been top of the league this evening by 6 goals to 1. It's been an absolutely superb evening of football here at Nethermoor, and we'll be back on Saturday for yet another game, this time away at Vauxhall Motors. Join us again on Guiseley AFC Radio, but for now, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.